The time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized. Of course, this doesn't amount to guilt, but we still must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story.
Welcome back to another episode of Slightly Offensive. We got new camera angles and everything. Well, this is a solo show here on a Thursday. We are live every Monday through Saturday at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. It's very hard because all my friends are around this time. We got Myron, of course, Fresh and Fit. Shout out Myron and Fresh. You got Nick Fuentes going on. You got Sneeko. And the problem is I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying not to compete with my friends, but they just go live at random times. And so sometimes they're after us, sometimes they're during us. But the important part is I'm joined today in the studio by none other than our resident producer, the first producer, who hasn't been vehemently hated by everybody yet. However, I encourage you, send the hate comments, just brutalize him. No. Go ahead. Georgie, welcome back to the show.
Hey, everybody, it's Georgie. Good to be back. This confetti never fucking works. There's my tag. Okay. It's going to be a good show. I'm excited about it.
So I'm feeling pretty down today. For valid reasons. Valid reasons I'm feeling down. You know, I saw another one of these videos from 1988. I believe it's in California. Check this out.
Ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth? Ooh, heaven is a place on earth. They say in heaven, love comes first. We'll make heaven a place on earth. Ooh, heaven is a place on earth.
Place on earth. And it's not Dallas. Heaven is not Dallas. I was kind of just realizing the extremity of what's going on. I'll be talking about some things, you know, towards the end, some real human stuff.
Real humans here.
Real humans here at the end. But we're back. We're live. And you might be wondering, why am I wearing a Trump t-shirt? Trump 2024. This is how the show started. I was blonde, still as gay as hell, still retarded. And I was optimistic like all of you. I thought perhaps we were finally going to get our racist, sexist, misogynist, rapist president like we all loved, who grabbed him by the pussy. Not unconsensually, of course, but because he said they let you do it when you have money. And don't they, folks? And then I guess 4 years went by. We all sort of gave our freedom and safety. I was just with a friend who was with another prominent streamer who had a hideout after January 6th, who was investigated. I was thinking about myself hiding out, the whole prosecution. And I realized like I basically lost everything at some point in my life multiple times being loyal to this president. And what the fuck did I get in response to this? And I'm not trying to make this personal, but what did you get in response to this? Nothing.
Nothing.
A lot of nothing. A lot of bullshit. A lot of ridiculousness. And the fact that, you just watch home video recordings from 1988 and you feel like you're watching white supremacy videos shows you just how dark and bleak things have gone. And I'm not trying to do a black pill episode today, but the Iran war went ahead and it's sort of going down a little bit. It's sort of settling down, as they say. Not in Lebanon, of course. But let's get into this. Let's get into our section looking at the war, looking at everything in conflict. Let's get into it. Hit that.
Yeah, Iran. Oh,
Quality production. Excellent graphics.
hey, we got the right one today.
You ever see a black at a fast food restaurant and you order wrong? All you gotta do is press buttons. That's all you had to do. All right. So, shockingly, the Jews are insane, as they've always been. At least the Israeli Jews. Not all Jews, but the Israeli Jews are still off their tits. We'll find out. Tim Pool actually got a call from the president, apparently, today, which is pretty cool. We'll talk about that. Plus, we'll talk about the Epstein files. But Israeli Minister Ben Smotrich has officially announced the start of the Greater Israel Project. Shocker.
Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot this week.
We've talked about that for years, actually. Reminding you that because I claimed the Greater Israel Project was happening, I was disinvited from Sky News in Australia, also known as Sky Jews. That's what they call it in Australia. Not there's anything wrong with that, Dan Bilzerian. Not there's anything wrong with that, Randy Fine. Jewish is not a slur. It's just, it's so weird when you call people Jewish. They get offended. And, the TMZ guy, I found out his last name is Levin. The guy that was upset about Dan Bilzerian's comment.
Any
Makes
relation?
you wonder. Makes you wonder.
Probably not.
Well, the cat's out of the bag, folks. The Greater Israel Project is here. I believe this is at one of the settlements. This was not even today, but this got released today, of them just embracing this. Remember, the best thing you can do, the best Israeli tactics are lie, 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 attack, 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 ask America for more money,
Cheat,
lie,
cheat,
lie,
cheat.
lie, attack, 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 cheat, deny, deny, deny.
Steal.
Steal, 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 steal. Here's what he said.
בכל החזיתות, באמת, סייעתא דשמיא הגדולה ועבודה יוצאת מן הכלל של מערכת הביטחון על כל זרועותיה, מפקדים ולוחמים, ויש רגל מדינית מסיימת, יש רגל מדינית מסיימת ביהודה ושומרון שהורגת לחלוטין את רעיון חלוקת הארץ והקמת מדינת טרור בלב ליבה. תהיה רגל מדינית מסיימת בעזה שתרחיב את גבולותינו, תהיה רגל מדינית מסיימת בלבנון שתרחיב את גבולותינו על הליטני לגבולות ברי הגנה.
For the audio-only listeners, they're saying they're going to expand their borders to Mount Hermon.
כן, יש רגל צבאית, יש רגל מדינית, שניהם רגליים של גבורה, של נחישות, של אמונה, של אהבת הארץ.
Okay. So what we got here is a official government employee of the Israeli regime. And what we have going on right now are negotiations between Iran and the United States. Who's representing us? Well, I believe J.D. Vance is there. And Jared Kushner was sent. Jared Kushner, who we were promised would have no involvement in this new administration because people were so upset about things. Jared Kushner, if you've been following the last few weeks, the individual who himself presented to the World Economic Forum the New Gaza Project, which essentially is resorts, but you can be gay. Because they had resorts in Gaza, but now you can be gay in Gaza. It's Gaza now, bitch. MAGA. 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 You know, I saw this clip today. I like Tim Pool a lot. He's a good friend of mine. I know a lot of you don't like Tim Pool a lot. But I mean, I like him as a friend, right? He's been a very Good friend to me over the years. He's never slandered me publicly. He's gotten my back on his show, and I take loyalty seriously. I know he hasn't been good to all my friends, and I've had talks with him privately about that. But he did have Nick on. He did do some of his promises. So it's like, hey, you would think maybe he's changing his tune, right? Maybe he is. Mm-hmm. Well, Harmeet Dillon and Cat Turd, Harmeet Dillon, the head of the Civil Rights Department of the Attorney General, came out and has agreed that they're going to investigate people like Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, and Candace. This is the one time I'm happy that I got defeated before this one. So it's like, I was like, oh, fucking shit. And I'm like, okay, well, at least I'm like so down in the dumps. Or they took me out in December, actually. People don't know about that. Totally unrelated to my divorce and everything. They came and sabotaged, put an FBI informant in my business. You can watch the video. They bugged my office. They recorded me in my home. They bugged my home. This is true and documented in the Supreme Court of Florida and the Supreme Court of Texas. It's currently under trial. But they came after me separately. They came after Tucker separately. Charlie separately. They came after Nick separately. And now they want to know who's getting money. Now, what we'll find out is that everybody who's pro-Israel is suddenly not on that list. Here's what Tim said.
Donald Trump personally called me before he made this statement, thanking me for having his back and saying that I was a good friend. And I said, Mr. President, I will stand with you always, no matter what you do. Even if you shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue. He laughed. Yeah. And we had a great time, and he's a good man.
What? I mean, what?
Nick was right.
That's crazy.
Nick was right about him. I'll say it. There, I said it. He was right.
I'm just going to say this. Timothy, what are you doing, buddy? Timothy. I'm not going to speak poorly of Tim. I never would. I don't do that to my friends. I have a fraternity mindset that even if your friends shoot people on Fifth Avenue, you do get their back, unless they're an elected official. Those are not your friends.
Yeah.
Those are servants of the people. And when you're committing crimes against the people and universally against the world, and you're hurting our future like Trump has been doing, I'm really not gonna give you any slack there. And unironically, I have lost more friends in the last 2 weeks than I have my entire life. You would think that all these scandals and things that have allegedly happened, which most of which are completely untrue, would have somehow change people's minds. No, what got people mad was that I didn't support the Iran war, and I said I'm not going to be MAGA anymore because I don't support the Iran war. How could you support the Iran war? You'd literally have to be a fucking pussy, known as Cat Turd. There's nothing ironic about the fact that the greatest people who support him are pussies. And who doesn't like a good pussy cat? Obviously, we don't want cats here. Cats. This isn't a vulgar show, Dad.
Pussy cat turd?
Pussy cat turds.
I don't know. I don't like that. I'm not a fan.
I remember when this administration started, I saw a lot of my colleagues getting positions in the administration. I thought this is really interesting. We're becoming a administration of performers, of entertainers, right? And the best friends of Trump are entertainers. They are Jewish scammers. They are mortgage fraud, medical insurance fraud scammers. These are the people that are getting out. Rappers, right? What about the white man, Trump? What about people like me who had felt abandoned by Obama? Obama. Greatest line of Trump in all of history. Obama. I also like his second favorite one is, I got Tim Apple here. The CEO of Apple just becomes Tim Apple. You know, Bill Microsoft and Tim Apple. We love them.
I liked Kambala.
Kambala. Throat goat.
I called her Kambala the whole time.
She should be called Kabbalah because her husband is Jewish. And we say that positively here because should be a positive term in 2026 because being Jewish means you're winning everywhere. The Jews are winning everywhere, actually, guys. And you're losing badly. And I don't know if you know how bad this is, okay? How bad things have gotten, how bad they're going to get, and how bad they truly are. I found out that my neighbors were pouring milk in the local lake to celebrate another demon. And fucking shit, that's not the weirdest thing that's happened in my neighborhood recently.
We'll see that at the end of the show.
The most base thing that happened in my neighborhood is that, obviously you guys know, I got lost my house and I won it back in court. And so we had to sort of move stuff back in to the home, which is like a first victory. And nobody really cared about the divorce. No one cared about the move. What they all asked about was, what were black people doing in the neighborhood? This is like the 7th time I've been approached by who were those black guys. And so those are the movers, by the way.
Yeah.
So On a good note, America's still dysfunctional, but positively, we're all still concerned about blacks in our neighborhoods.
True.
So that's kind of a win there. It's a W. The Muslims, the Sikhs, they're all upset about the blacks. So, I mean, there is definitely a redeeming value to having all of your neighbors be named Abdul. And I'm not joking. I actually have a Muslim neighbor who's actually very cool. He's like one of my only cool neighbors. And the reason why he's cool is because he came up to me and said, hey, it's so nice to have an American move into the neighborhood. And I went, oh shit, I moved here pretty abruptly and I didn't look at the neighborhood. And I was like, oh no. And he said that. He said, I'm happy to have an American move into the neighborhood. And I was like,
so
wow.
Backwards. That's how people, like white people, felt in the 60s. Like, oh, it's so nice to have a Mexican here. It's like, oh, this is nice. It adds some flavor. Now we're the Mexican in the neighborhood, or like we're the Indian now.
No, we're
so fucked up.
We're the spick, you dirty white spick.
Do Indians have a slur for us? We got to look that up. I bet they do. We got to find that. Someone comment that in the chat, please.
It's called God. They call us God. They all want to be white. They all want our women
yesterday.
too. Yeah, unfortunately. Well, I thought this investigation is kind of interesting. You know, you have this this investigation going on pretty extensively here into individuals in the country, wondering basically who's funding our media. And I thought that was ironic. I was like, I could tell you. I've told you guys I was offered thousands of dollars to lie for the IDF. I literally have documents, which I'm on NDA, but NDAs are not federal investigations, Trump and NDA. So you're not allowed to publicly talk about things, but I've been in federal investigations multiple times. And I said I would comply with the federal investigators. I would like to be investigated. I totally appreciate, any and all information. I know Harmeet Dillon well, actually, who's one of the big proponents of this. And I was there at the RNC and I watched the prayers to the demons and stuff like that. I was there. I remember I was so proud of her speaking and I put it up and I wasn't paying attention and I put the video up. I was like, happy for my friend Harmeet here because she helped me out of my January 6th, she helped me with my January 6th investigation stuff. So again, loyalty, frat stuff. And I was like, wow, I have a friend in power. Well, how's that going? Like everything else, not very good. Not very good, sir. Not very good. I like Harmeet though. And that's my biggest downfall. My biggest weakness is I end up liking people for who they are. And I lose sight. I have a little bit of that boomer brain. And millennials have a little boomer brain in us. Or we're like, but I love that person. And it's like, yeah, but.
You lose sight of their angle.
You lose sight of the angle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody has one.
Everybody does. Well, Trump, AF Post reported this. President Trump is upset with Iran for charging fees to tankers going through the Strait of Hormuz, days after calling it a beautiful thing and potential joint venture for the U.S. Turns out we're not getting that money. Donald Trump put out on Truth Social, currently the only person that writes on Truth Social that I know. There are reports that Iran is charging fees to tankers going through the Hormuz Strait. They better not be, and if they are, they better stop now. President Donald J. Trump. Hey, buddy, do you know how... I love when people like quote, like put themselves as a sign off. I was like, hey, buddy, it's from your account.
Well, yesterday, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, he commented and he said that we want in on that. He said, yeah, they're going to be charging fees to cross through the strait and we are going to make it a joint venture. And now he's saying they better not be doing it at all. So that's interesting. It's weird. Why would he be doing that?
It's interesting. It's an interesting prerogative.
A fucking TV. What the fuck?
It's fine. It's fine.
Is that like an update? Is that what's happening? I don't know. Let's solve it live on air.
All right. It doesn't matter.
There we go.
All right. But that's just what's going on. So we're still in the pilot episodes of relaunching right now, guys. We're getting the tech ready. We're getting the tech done in the studio.
Well, it's another flip-flop from Trump. It's like yesterday he's saying we want in on this. It's okay that they're charging fees. That's a good idea. It's smart. We want in. We want to cut. And now he's flip-flopping again. I can only imagine it's because he's giving into Israeli pressure to allow them to, bomb Lebanon or whatever it is. He's giving it to the Israelis again. They brought him back in. We were speculating a few days ago about if Trump is actually positioning himself away from the Israel lobby or if they're going to reel him back in as they always do. Some people were giving him a little more credit. I think I took the position that no, they're going to reel him back in and it's going to go back to normal. And I think my position is the Iran war is going to start up again for some reason or the other. I think it's a matter of time. maybe there's a pause for like 6 months to a year, but eventually we're getting back in, maybe under Rubio or something. But
Well, we'll have boots on the ground at some point in Iran.
yeah,
Okay. It may not be this administration. It may be in future administrations, but I do believe Buchanan when he says that the crown jewel are boots on the ground. Now, speaking of the Israel lobby, Randy Fine, a congressman from the great state of Florida. Shout out to Florida, my home state, my resident state. I'm still a resident there, actually.
we love Florida.
We love Florida. We love the Florida courts, don't we,
I'm
folks?
still a resident there too.
We love them, except for that FBI shit. I don't like that.
Yeah.
But Randy Fine came out as a lot of people said, hey, look, this is going on in Lebanon. Lebanon is a highly Christian country, very advanced. It's a modern country, Mediterranean. It's I was going to say, just a lot of people really have bought U.S. propaganda on Iran, on Russia, on China. They think China is a bunch of peasants on bikes and it's a bunch of guys in turbans in Iran and Lebanon. It's just really not what's going on here. What did Randy Fine think when we said, hey, look, maybe they shouldn't be blowing up Lebanon because a lot of Christians are there and we are a Christian nation. So maybe we shouldn't be sponsoring the carpet bombing and ethnic cleansing of a nation that has done no wrong to us and whose population serves the same God we do. What did Randy Fine say?
Right on the screen here, we have a live look of Beirut, Lebanon. And of course, attacks have continued there. Yesterday was the deadliest day in attacks that we've seen in the latest Israel-Hezbollah war. You're one of the few Jewish members of Congress, staunch supporter of Israel, its right to defend itself, of course. Do you support their continued deadly strikes on Lebanon and their argument that the ceasefire doesn't apply there? And do you think it risks a fracture with the White House during this war?
There's a lot of questions there. The key question is, does it risk a fracture with the White House? I would say no. The president has been very clear. The ceasefire with Iran did not include Hezbollah. So no, I don't think it fractures that at all. But Israel is not attacking Lebanon. Israel is attacking Hezbollah. And Lebanon had an obligation to deal with Hezbollah, to control them and to stop them from firing rockets at Israel, which, by the way, includes 700,000 Americans. Lebanon has failed to do that. Hezbollah has failed to disarm. And so Israel is doing what is necessary to not only protect Israelis, but the Americans who live there.
Looking ahead.
Okay.
It's always, it's for the Americans, aren't they? Didn't they take 10% of Lebanon already?
20%.
Is it it's up to 20%?
20%. They've annexed 20% of the country.
Oh, no, but they're doing it for us, bro.
Doing it for the Americans.
They're doing it for us. I feel a lot safer. I don't know about you. I'm really happy with this, actually.
I remember my friend Jonathan's mom, Cynthia. She died from fentanyl. White family, two handsome white sons. Absolutely, Chad dad, and a very loving mother. May she rest in peace. And I remember this was the first time I got introduced to fent overdoses. And at her funeral, people got up and talked about their family members who died from fentanyl overdoses. This was during the height of the Sackler family, their reign of terror in the United States. Another Jewish family who did Percocets for the Americans, percocetsforchrist.com. And I'm really wondering, do I like being an American, or do I really care about America if everything that's pro-American just fucks over the people here, kills us, poisons us, destroys us, cheats us, removes our rights, removes our liberties? Do I really feel pro-America when the pro-American position is spend our money on things that hurt our people? It's sort of backwards. It's an ultimate test of gaslighting. Obviously, people will quote me, be like, he's become pro-Iran or whatever. But the question is what are we planning on doing for the Iranian people? We don't even help our own people. Why would the Iranian people believe that if they regime change, we can help them for their people?
Yeah, they're getting smart about it, I think. And the post we put up earlier about, Trump condemning them charging fees in the Strait, it kind of goes to show, they are winning. They don't trust us anymore, and they have no reason to trust us, and they're cutting us out of any deals they want to make. They're being very reluctant to engage with us diplomatically, and they have every reason to do so. Frankly, I'm surprised they're even coming to the table. I believe there's going to be we'll pull it up later, but there's a peace talk summit on Saturday.
Right here. Here it is.
In Pakistan. Oh, is this it?
Yeah, here it is. Check this out. Fox News reported this.
Pakistan, in-person peace talks, and this is what the table is going to look like for what could be J.D. Vance's biggest assignment yet as vice president. He will be there. Steve Witkoff, the special envoy, will be there. Jared Kushner, another.
I don't know if I really want to die
or
On
want
the
my sons to
Iran side,
die
You've got the
What's going on?
for somebody named You
have something else
Dagji
playing. Hold up.
Magdanga Bamjo
What is going on
or
now?
whatever.
That's
We got our
gotta be
mail
the computer.
today
Oh, there you go.
from the previous tenant.
You got that. I don't know, just started playing.
Great clip.
It's not us. Okay.
There we go. Let's try again here.
Sometimes it just starts
Parliament
playing
Speaker
shit.
who has been talking to President Trump, Mohammed Bagher Ghalibaf, and then Abbas Aragachi, the foreign minister. Officials here
That guy
are
used to live
not
in this house, actually,
negotiating
before
in
us.
public about
Abbas
which points
Aragachi,
have
he was
to
my
stay,
old
which points
neighbor.
have to go to end this military campaign in the Middle East. But it is very notable, both here at the White House and at the Pentagon, officials are starting to refer to epic fury in the past tense, something that happened, something that
All right, so Peter Ducey, I think that's his name. Unfortunate name. Mr.
Yeah.
Ducey. You ever clean your Ducey out in the shower? That doesn't sound good. Well, Peter Ducey. Ducey. Peter Ducey is saying that there's going to be peace talks. Jared Kushner's not an elected individual. Why is he in foreign countries in the most integral and strategic meetings? Well, he's Trump's son-in-law.
Yeah, he's the president, basically. He's effectively the president, it seems like. He's everywhere. He's all over the place. Seems like everything involving Iran or peace talks. I think everybody on this peace talk council is Jewish as well. I could be wrong about that. I believe that's true. There's 3 people that Trump's bringing. It's 3 Jews. It's like, okay. It's I think it's over. Is it over, Elijah? Is it over?
No, it's not over. It's not close to being over yet. In fact, this will possibly span decades from here.
Well, you were talking about earlier, it's like, are you pro-America? I think we are pro what America should be. But
pro-America agenda.
we are very anti what America is today.
I'm against the regime. I'm not for this regime.
Mm-hmm.
And I call it a regime like I called Biden a regime, and Republicans didn't call me anti-American when I was against the Biden regime. I do think that I'm not in favor of the Trump regime, and it's a very dark place to be. You know, I've effectively lobbied pretty extensively for Republicans in every election. This is an election year. This is a year where I could probably use a little bit of money. I can make somewhere between 60 to 100 grand pretty easily, like just lobbying on the side for candidates. And I don't think anything's going to change whether they get elected or not, to be quite frank with you. It doesn't look like Republicans care about infrastructure. It doesn't look like they care about the price and the cost of living. Americans are barely affording to get by. And that's a truthful statement. They're not getting by with savings. And they're not better off now. And Mario Nafal published this, that the inside story of how the war started is more damning than anyone imagined. According to this post here, the New York Times just published the most detailed account yet of Trump's decision to attack Iran. Every American should read it. February 11th, Netanyahu arrives at the White House for a classified Situation Room briefing. Mossad on the screens behind him. He plays Trump a video montage of potential new Iranian leaders, including the exiled son of the Shah. He tells Trump regime change is within reach. The missile program can be destroyed in weeks. Iran won't be able to close Hormuz. Retaliations against U.S. interests would be minimal. Trump's response was sounds good to me. Every single one of these assurances turned out to be wrong. Iran did close Hormuz. Retaliations hit 6 countries. The missile program survived underground. The regime consolidated power instead of collapsing. And 44 days later, Trump accepted a ceasefire on Iranian terms. February 26th, the final Situation Room meeting, Trump goes around the table. Vance says, I think this is a bad idea, but if you want to do it, I'll support you. Rubio says, if the goal is regime change, we shouldn't do it. Chung, the comms director, warned it contradicted everything that they'd said for 8 months about Iranian nuclear facilities being destroyed. Remember that one? Remember, I was just like a 12-day war or whatever?
Yeah.
And it was like...
It's supposed to be 2 weeks tops.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember being told, too, that we had won. Victory.
Yeah.
You anti-MAGAT. You traitor. That's what they told me. The CIA director said the regime change was possible. We just mean killing the supreme leader. Nobody said no. Everyone deferred to the president's instincts. The Treasury Secretary and Energy and Secretary, the 2 people who would need to manage their largest oil supply disruption in history, weren't even in the room. Neither was the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, who did obviously oppose the war and had a hard time bluffing that she supported it. That's why he's thinking about firing her. The next day aboard Air Force One, 22 minutes before the military deadline, Trump sent 6 words: Operation Epic Fury is approved. No aborts. Good luck. Isn't that crazy that our government is just decided by some like deranged individual who is has allegiance to, he just trusts Israel?
I actually almost like that. I know that's kind of a hot take, but I think that's kind of how it should be. It's just a shame that his calls are always abrasive to the American people's wishes and desires. It's
Yeah,
like
but
he's
you
going
just missed the
against
second
us.
part of what I said. He said, but whose allegiance is to another country's intelligence. Like,
Yeah.
it's like he didn't just say, he just goes ahead. He's like, yep, well, Israel said it, so it's my word too. Let's go.
Yeah.
And every one of the Americans is like, I just wouldn't do this, sir.
Yeah, but they all
And he's like,
capitulate.
but the Israelis said, well, because he'll fire you.
Yeah.
He'll fire you.
Well, that's a good precedent to set. I like that part. But all of his actions are going against everything I voted for him for.
It's unfortunate. It's really not great. It's a slow news day today, guys.
Yeah, very slow.
And I'm not exactly stoked.
It's a rough day
But
at Riff TV.
funny enough, as much flack as you guys give him, childhood friend of mine, Benny Johnson, who, by the way, it was put out that we used to have lots of sleepovers growing up. Never had a sleepover with Benny Johnson. Just want to clarify that. I've never slept in a room with Benny Johnson before as a child or an adult. Not that there'd be anything wrong with that. I'm not saying that there's any reason, but that never happened. One of the many things I've been reading about myself recently that are just not true. But Benny Johnson clearly is not getting to bed with Israel, and I do worry about him because he is the Republican poster boy. And now he's kind of realizing, hey, it's like, yeah, supporting Trump, you do have to support what he says, but the base has abandoned him.
Mm-hmm.
More or less, he's abandoned the base. And his strategies are just not really doing anything for anyone. You ever seen a fat stripper? With
No.
I once went to a strip club. Not me, my friend went. I went with a friend and I stayed outside, of course. And he went. And he told me this.
I was the friend.
Yeah, he told me this. I didn't go. There was a pregnant woman stripping, it's just sad, like a village woman or something, like a peasant physiognomy.
Damn.
It was like fat, like a baby, and stripping. And it's like, you have a sort of a feeling of like, well, that's not good. It's like that's when you feel morally wrong. When when it's all the only problem is they didn't have a father in their life, you're like, okay, well, you're in the right job, lady. But there's a certain point where you're just kind of like, this isn't good for them. And I feel like we're getting into a point where that's kind of how people see the American people. It's like they're pregnant and we're stripping for money, and we're like, it's like no matter how much you want to support Trump, okay, things aren't doing well for the American people. I have to kind of have a moral backbone here.
Mm-hmm.
I think Benny's realizing you got to have a moral backbone. You can only sort of grift the media for as long as you can before you're like, people are burning down toilet paper factories because they're not getting paid enough to live. Listen.
Our greatest ally? Yeah, I don't think so. Honestly, it's about time to hear this story reported. Much has been made about Israel and their effects on President Trump and how we got into the war with Iran. But now it has been officially told from the inside by the New York Times to stenographers and stalkers of President Trump at the New York Times, directly from the White House, Bibi Netanyahu's lies to the president that were called bullshit by his own cabinet, that were called farcical by the CIA. And nonetheless, the Israeli government went to the White House and lied to Trump again and again. Trump decided to act on Iran anyway, and this story proves exactly why. You can agree or disagree, but it's the way that it happened, all the way down to the detail of where people were sitting in the room when Bibi.
Well, we read the story there. And the problem with this story remains unequivocally and demonstrably blunt. We are all going to have to go to an island. I'm going to give you guys all a cup of Kool-Aid. And you're going to see Jesus Christ. You're going to meet God. Now you're going to go down. You're going to... No, the thing is...
see probably hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to see Dick Cheney. That's who you're going to see. You're about to meet Dick Cheney. Thought you were going to get virgins in heaven? Now you're getting dicked down by Cheney. Dick Cheney. He's going to shoot with a shotgun and blame the devil.
It's kind of interesting that he's taking this position, though, and it is significant.
Yeah, it's a narrative shift. It's a Overton window shift that the Republican poster boy is like, I don't think they're our greatest ally. That's, of course, like Matt Walsh saying, I don't think we should give foreign aid to Israel. It's a weak position, but it is a position.
They're criticizing the Israeli government, and that is the core problem with this. And a lot of people are starting to do this. Tucker Carlson, he's probably the the head honcho of this. He's criticizing the Israeli government. He's criticizing Netanyahu, but he is not criticizing world Jewry. And that's a big issue because the problem resides not with just Israel, but also Jewishness. And it can't be understated. And they're not willing to go that far, unfortunately. And until they start saying these things, I don't think real tangible progress is ever really going to happen.
Well, yeah, and what Israel's doing is unbelievable. They're literally holocausting lots and lots of people. And we're going to start calling everything like, dude, listen, I am very Jewish by nature because like I'll stub my toe and I'll call it a Holocaust. You know what I mean? Like that's how I am. I'm like, fucking, this is like another Holocaust.
Well, they do that too.
Yeah, I know. Everything's the end of the world for me.
Yeah.
No, but you know, like the other day, I remember like I had a Gatorade in the fridge and Georgie drank it, and I was like, this is worse than the Holocaust because this actually happened. You know what I mean? You actually drank it.
Did I drink your Gatorade?
You did.
My bad, bro. I don't even remember that. I don't drink Gatorade.
I know you don't.
You sure that was me?
I know you don't.
Could have been one of the other twinks that pulled through.
That's true. There's a lot of them. A lot of twinks in this house.
Like we had 8 this last week.
Eight, more like 80. I can't count them, just like dead kids decapitated in Gaza. There's just a lot of them, and you don't know where they come from. Jokes aside, Australian Talk was talking about how severe this actually is.
Shout out Australian Talk. Go follow him.
Yeah, you can follow Australian Talk. Scale of the discretion is unimaginable for the people living there. Watch this.
We have some really disturbing new information out of Israel. The Israeli Prime Minister's spokesman just confirmed babies and toddlers were found with their heads decapitated.
There's no excuse whatsoever. They are complicit in this. But you see Israel buying up media outlets.
We have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok. TikTok, number one.
You see Israeli billionaires trying to tamp down on the narrative. They're desperate. They're desperate because they know that's the only way they'll survive, is to try to convince the world of the opposite of what we're all seeing. So that's why you see these desperate, pathetic influencers just spewing lies.
I'm here in Gaza, and all I see is food, water, and opportunity. But instead of Hamas distributing the ramen noodles, they're eating it all, and that's why their leaders are on Ozempic.
Because that's all they have left. They don't have anything anymore. But it's too late. We're never going to forget what it looks like when Palestinians hold their children in plastic bags. No one can forget that. I'm never going to forget the sound of a drone emitting a crying baby so it can massacre children who come out of their homes.
جماعة الخير قوات كاب ترقب صوت أطفال الآن من مخيم انصارات امبارح استشهدوا شاب طلع مسكين يشوف إيش الصوت في مدرسة طبعا طلع والله قنصوه.
And get lured like a cat and mouse. No one's going to forget that. No one's going to forget what it looks like in Gaza today. You can't wash that away. You can't paper over that with degenerate propaganda, base level lies. No one's going to paper over the unvarnished truth of what we've all witnessed.
Yeah, they will actually. They're going to, and they're going to write, the same people that wrote the last textbooks are going to write the next textbooks because now they're updated on iPads. You stupid bitch. Don't you know how it all works? Your children are being given iPads, not even Apple, being given Android tablets. What's more disrespectful? Gaza or your tax dollars buying Android tablets? Equitable, in my opinion. Because I just read my child's equitable tablet, and it said Gaza actually wasn't destroyed. Panicking. You panicking. You did it again. You doubted Trump. Oh, kids are being blown up and stuff. Hey, but at least your gas is $6. Well, I mean, they're killing Christians and bombing the sepulcher and just doing bad things, and like they're just like spitting on Christians. Okay, you fucking fake MAGA. You were never MAGA. You were never MAGA. You were never MAGA. We got wars to fight, bitch. We got Lebanon to bomb, bitch. We got Christians to massacre, motherfucker. Oh, okay, well, I know, but like, I just want to be able to pay rent and I want a place to live. So do the Lebanese. Thank God they don't have places to live because Israel needs a buffer zone. Okay? Maybe you'll understand what Israel's going through. They don't have enough houses in countries that aren't theirs, okay? Maybe you should give your house to them. Whining little fake MAGA. I gotta go suck Mark Levin's micro penis. I'll be right back. Thank you. Anyways, no. That's how it feels like being an American in 2026.
Well, she said something important there.
She said between 26 and 27. Yeah, exactly.
She said that is their whole game, is doing these atrocities and then convincing the people or convincing the governments to cover it up for them. That's been their game since the very beginning, since Israel was established. And
wait, Jews lie about atrocities?
Yeah, they've been doing it for 2,000 years.
If they're covering up atrocities that really did happen, do you think they could fake atrocities that never happened?
Yeah, probably they could. Yeah. Well, I don't know. If you're talking about the Holocaust, I think that definitely happened, and it was probably way over 6 million. But
isn't it sad? That's all. Okay, I'm going to watch my mouth. But anyways, isn't it just sad?
Yeah, it's a shame that that's their game, and she's seemingly hopeful that people are going to wake up and take notice of this and start making moves to do something about it. I think it's pretty clear that nobody's actually doing that. I don't want to shit on Tim Pool, but he's backing Trump. A lot of these people are backing Trump. Tucker, he may be going outside of the MAGA circles, but he's still only talking about Israel as a government and not world Jewry. And as long as we can't talk about world Jewry, we're never going to do anything about this. And it is kind of over unless you're willing to say the hard things that nobody really wants to talk about and get into these ideologies that we're able to resist the world Jewry system and do something about it. And until you're willing to embrace some of these systems and ideas, it is over for you as a people, as a country, and potentially even your religion overall.
Listen, and I'm gonna keep out of the details. I'll focus mostly here quickly on the FBI proxy litigation, but I'm involved in 3 litigations right now. 3 litigations that largely put into play my extremist views. Guys, I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's so bad that my ex-wife brought into play my views on Israel and Jews as a reason for me to not be like a fit father. I'm just going to be honest with that. And the judge said, that's the only part I'm going to bring up. He said, this is very concerning. So you could be going, this is going to affect every area of your lives. Okay. I'm telling you this right now. It's going to get down to the fact when they said, we're going to take your kids or we're going to take these people away from you. When they said, we're going to, remember the National Jewish Conference? The girl said that. She was like, when you try to date, we're going to take it away from you. Look, if you're anti-Semitic, you can't go on Tinder. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they do. They'll delete you from being against Jews.
They'll ban your Pornhub account.
They will.
They took mine too.
No, but I'm saying the crazy part is that in a custody battle, which is active, the judge is considering my views on Jews and Israel. He's considering that. And that's very serious, right? In my lawsuit with Alexis Wilkins, there's really nothing about honeypots or her. There's one page on it, one page. The rest of the document is about my views on Israel. And what happened, like I've mentioned, what happened if you missed the whole video, the same day that all that stuff went public from Milo, the false public assassinations, we had an immediate rush judgment from the Florida court that said that they're going to elevate the case from the FBI proxies, which, my haters like, they're not all connected. Really? Well, that's interesting because that's really convenient timing, right? It's really convenient timing. My car is found at NATO. A public assassination attempt counts a character, and then I get a rush judgment in an FBI case where they said we're going to take all of his thoughts, all of his opinions about Israel. This is in. You can go check this public docket. All of the stuff he says about Israel from now up until the trial is now put into place. What does my opinions on Israel have to do with my opinions on Alexis Wilkins? Well, my lawyer said the judge is essentially saying you shouldn't mention Israel or Jews up until the trial. And if you lose the trial, they'll probably put a gag on you that you can't talk about Israel and the Jews. And so I'm in several very high profile litigation, meaning whether or not I get to have my kids. It's not about drugs. It's not about alcohol. It's not about anything real. It's about my extremist views on Jews. And I'll publish that eventually. That'll be these are sealed documents now, but I'll show you guys. I'll come with the receipts. And that's scary. And I only bring up the relatability to that because Guess what nobody said in the Alexis Wilkins case? Guess what nobody says in the custody battle? Guess what nobody says in the media? Guess what nobody says at Media Matters? They don't say that my views are incorrect. They don't say that they're wrong. It's what this woman said. They just say those aren't the views we want you to have. And they will take things from you, just like Kanye. They took his business. They took his money. They took his life. Why? Because of his opinions on Israel. He just got his entire tour canceled in the UK because the Jewish council came together and said, you can't have an opinion on Jews. You can't play music. You can't play rap music about niggers killing each other because you don't like Jews.
I have a question.
That's crazy.
When did, when you were doing some lobbying stuff, when did that end for you? And what caused that? Because I know it ties into this larger story here about your life. I mean, why not? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so that was the same day, actually. The vice president or director of the NGO lobbying group, which due to NDAs we won't mention, but everyone's very familiar with them. And people say, oh, so you're a registered lobbyist? No. That's like thinking that Israel doesn't lobby the government because they only, under FARA, they only do a small amount of money. It's like, they don't lobby under FARA.
It's a good thing if we're doing it.
Well, yeah, but they don't lobby under FARA. But I directly, and I've been open, like Tim Sheehy, for instance, people that actually are pro-Israel now that are in office, I lobbied for them. And I'm open about that. I lobbied for Kash. I got paid to lobby for Kash Patel to become, to push him through the Senate hearings. Those are a few people that I'll say because those things got leaked and my name got leaked in that. But I was open about it from the beginning. I always tell people like, hey, yeah, the Republican Party is paying this organization and they're paying us to push this. That's why when I say that people are getting paid for everything, everything's getting paid. I'm just one of the only people that admit it that I'm doing that.
And at what point did you turn on Kash in general? What do you think that has something to do with it?
Yeah, it was with the Epstein files and his covering for Israel.
Okay.
And so
you did
so I started doing an expose on it. I started releasing information, talking poorly about him. And then what's even crazier is that now that I'm getting tried for $5 million, which again, they want my social media accounts. That's what they want as retribution. They want to shut down my ex primarily. They want that as the asset because it's allegedly worth like $1.5 million or something like that, or like $1.8 million. So they want my accounts to silence my voice. It's funny because Alexis Wilkins just publicly accused me, Kyle Serafim and others of being paid by Russia, Qatar, and other foreign agents. She accused us of being foreign agents. She didn't say your name. Oh, well, guess what? She implied it was us. I thought implication defamation is what we're doing here these days. So she implied it was us.
Well, there's something important about
that.
Well,
I'm coming into this. Is that the same day that Milo came out with all this stuff, a Jewish gay guy, by the way, where my brother-in-law worked with the Jewish person. He worked with the Jews and worked with the FBI. We have this, it's in court. He worked with the FBI, with Cash's FBI, and with Milo. Okay, this is on record.
What appears that the whole dossier was essentially, it was created to use against you in the Alexis Wilkins case.
Yes, he created it. That's what I'm saying. He created it in the divorce. And he goes, I want to use all of this. This is what my brother-in-law says. I need a meeting.
At the end of the dossier.
Yeah, he goes, I need a meeting. This dossier leaked to me by Thiel's camp says, I want to use all this information to testify directly on behalf of Alexis Wilkins and to deposition. I need a meeting with Kash. Okay, please get me contact with Kash, and I'd be happy to testify against my brother-in-law and tell you about how anti-Semitic he is and all these things. Essentially, there you go. So then you see that it's all about my marriage in this. So he uses that at the end and goes, I need a meeting. Milo, can you help facilitate this meeting with Kash? Why would you ask Milo to help facilitate a meeting with Kash if Milo is not an FBI informant? Okay. And I've said Milo's an FBI informant multiple times. I haven't gotten lawsuits. I haven't been served. That's a very big accusation. But he is a federal informant. He knows he is too. And the funny thing is nobody cares though. And they still have him on their show and they hang out and they talk to us like, that's an FBI informant. That's a federal informant who's boasted about that in private emails and text messages that have been leaked. And you have this guy who's out there doing that. And then people will take what he posts about me like, oh, it's crazy. Like, you guys are siding with the FBI, the Israeli FBI deep state against your own people. And what's even crazier is then what happens? Then in my divorce, it gets testified that I'm anti-Semitic and by the way, what ended up in my divorce? What ended up in my custody hearing? My trial with Alexis Wilkins. It's a huge part of it. Look at this guy. He makes things up. He thinks that people are honeypots. He's insane. And you're like, what the fuck does my personal opinions about Alexis Wilkins and a meme have to do with my divorce? What does my divorce have to do with Alexis Wilkins? Whoa, why is Israel in my divorce? Why is Israel in my custody case? Why is Israel in a lawsuit? Why is everyone talking about my opinions on Israel in my whole life? What is up with that? Well, I can tell you, coincidences do happen. You can watch the whole video back there, but it's like, do you really get your car found? Your brother flees to Serbia. Your wife flees the country with your kids. You get a public assassination attempt. You get a rush order in the same 24 hours. And it's all about Israel, and Israel's in everything. And then people are like, oh, you just like to blame the Jews. I didn't say that the Jews made me post something about Alexis. I didn't say that the Jews caused my lawsuit. I didn't say the Jews caused my divorce. I didn't say that the Jews made anyone do anything. I just said that Israel and my opinions on Jewish people happen to be involved heavily in every single one of these predicaments. So much so that I even found out that with my car being stolen, one of the things that my brother-in-law was telling people was like, oh, he thinks the Jews did it. I never said that one. I don't think the Jews stole my car. I think my brother-in-law had my car stolen. That's what the government thinks. That's what the investigation thinks as well. And my firearms as well. Possibly working with one of my old employees who needs to lawyer the fuck up. I will see you later this year. However, point being is that it's like, it's not my fault that they all want to talk about Israel. And I just thought that was so funny that it's like, you know, you used to have to like beat the shit out of your kids and your wife or something to lose to like, but I didn't lose custody of my kids or anything like that, by the way. That's not what happened. My wife just absconded with the children. She just left. And then she like told the court, because I'm an extremist in my views on Israel, put their life at risk or something. True. And this is all in records. This is all in court record. And I'm like, and I told the court, I go, my brother-in-law is the biggest anti-Semitic guy that I know. He hates Jewish people. So much so, this girl, Brianna Morello, he had a crush on her, and he hated her because he hated himself because she was Jewish, and he had a crush on a Jewish woman. And then I see her at CPAC, she starts cursing me out, saying, your employees told me that, you know, that you told them that I had sex with you. Brianna Morello, I never fucking said that. Oh, who told you? The employees who wrote the dossier? Yeah, okay, I never said that. Why would I say that? That's the stupidest shit. Like, I can get pussy. I don't need to lie about it. I think that's kind of what the biggest scandal has been in my life, is that I can't. Yeah. But jokes aside here, like, I'm a normal guy. We have what? You know, between all of our platforms, we have like 1,000, 1,500 people watching live. We are not in this massive, show. We can't even get our TV working.
Well, while you fix that, I'd like to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, I have an outside perspective on this, and hearing Elijah talk about this, obviously he's passionate. And I think sometimes people will kind of use that to discredit the story, but here's how it appears to me. This might be a different angle than you've heard.
And you've seen the court docs. You've seen them all.
I've seen everything. And here's what I think happened. I'm speculating here, so, don't use this against me in court or something, but this is how it appears to me. Francis Moon, at some point 6 months before the divorce, he decided to turn on Elijah for whatever reasons he had. I'm not sure. At that point, he decided, I'm going to build this dossier about him over the course of the next 6 months, and I will use my family who's involved in his life, who lived with him. So he had his in-laws and his wife living with him. And because he is the brother of the wife, he obviously is closer with the family. And I think he kind of planted stories in their head about Elijah, and he over-exaggerated things that may have happened or may not have happened. And over the course of the next 6 months, he sort of programmed his family to hate Elijah, to come after him, and they poisoned his wife's mind against him. And this only happened after the in-laws moved into his house. And that's very interesting, because then he became outnumbered in his own household, and the power circulated seemingly around the brother-in-law, who had this whole plan, which I really doubt he let the family in on to begin with. And over the next 6 months, he built this dossier. He worked with Milo Yiannopoulos to destroy Elijah's career. And at the end of this dossier, he says, I would like to give all this information to Kash Patel and Alexis Wilkins to prosecute Elijah and put him in jail. He wants to put him in jail, and he's working with Kash
for my
Patel
opinions on Israel, by the way.
For his opinions on Israel. I mean, to me, it seems like a vindictive person who has and in the dossier, it looks like he has a crush on Elijah or something like that. It does seem very strange. It's like how you talk about an ex-girlfriend or something. I think at some point he got jealous, maybe jealous of his popularity and fame, and thought, oh, maybe I could do what he does, or maybe I'm better than him in some way. He doesn't deserve this.
He says in the dossier he wants to be my son's dad.
He became vindictive about the whole thing. And, these feelings, hatred, it stirs in someone's soul, and they do things that are highly inappropriate and highly destructive, and they don't think these things all the way through. And what happened to Elijah is extremely unfair. The stories about him and everything that's been spreading about him are very untrue. He has a great character. He's a great person. He cares about his friends very deeply. He cares about his children very deeply, and he cares about his ex-wife very deeply. And he doesn't really understand why all these people turned against him the way they did. And it's very confusing for everybody involved, frankly. And I think it's even confusing for his family and his ex-wife. And I don't think anyone really has all the details, especially not that party and especially not us. But what happened, it seems very evil. It seems very vindictive. And it's really not right what happened to him. And people need to, and especially on our side of the party, on the America First coalition, we need to recklessly defend our allies and friends who fight for our country and fight for our religion and fight for our identity as Americans. And yeah, it's just time to get over these things and start to trust the people who have been fighting for you from the beginning. And yeah, that's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, and I'll end here. We bring that up because it's not personal. This is not personal stuff. This is, some of these court documents are sealed. They'll all be public eventually, but a lot of these are public. My point is that this war on Israel, this thing, it's quite interesting to me that, you know, all that people have done to me is try to say I'm a bad person and, you know, fight my credibility, but no one can point out anywhere where I've lied or explain what I've done that's illegal or what I've done that's improper or explain what really has happened. Essentially, like, it's crazy to me that Jews are so powerful that they can just say things, and you guys are fucking stupid. Not you, but the American people are just fucking retarded, and they believe it. And it's like, that's why they do it. Because everyone's, yes, stupid goyim. Just take what we put on the internet and believe it because we put it on the internet. And it's like, my reputation speaks for itself. I have been unequivocally based. I have never capitulated to the federal government. I have never capitulated to any crazy investigations to divulge any information about patriots or our friends or our allies. I've always gotten our best fighters' backs. I've always used my platforms to promote people who didn't deserve it, who I didn't benefit from, who I would hurt from. I've always had a desire to hire people and to help boost people and to promote people who don't deserve it, who didn't need it, who I felt like just could use a helping hand. And what happened was I flew a little too close to the sun. And, you know, I really resonate with Kanye West a lot because, you know, I just got to say, everyone knew, you know, I'm not going to say anything about my family, but, you know, even my ex-wife, I love her a lot. I have nothing ill to say about her. And I also have nothing ill to say about anyone except for Francis Moon, really. Justice always comes, and we'll leave it at that. And I never forget. I'll never, ever, ever forget any of you in what you've done. And we'll leave it there.
And neither should the audience.
Neither should you guys. And we're going to have a long life and a lot of fun ahead, Francis. Buckle up, buckaroo.
For the next 40 years, pal.
40 years, buckaroo. I know your name. I know your family. I know who you are. I know what you did. And I will make sure that we get justice.
Irish Lass 43 says, if you're principled, you are a problem for many.
I agree on that.
That's extremely true. Really great comment there.
I'm going to turn that shit off for right now. I don't know what.
Yeah, we'll fix that another time. We got an issue. We're going to have to hardwire that thing in, and whoever mounted it did not put the HDMI cables out, so.
Yeah. Well, we had a black person.
It's fine. So. The black screen is kind of nice for this
we'll just do a black screen. Black screen of death. All right, and that being said, it's like the idea of never forgetting. And if you're threatened by that, like, justice means that the right thing will be done. So if anyone tries to turn what I said there, I didn't threaten to do anything. I didn't threaten anyone. I just said I will get justice. Justice means that the right thing will occur. That the right thing will happen. And if the right things happen, you didn't do anything wrong, then you shouldn't be scared, Francis. You shouldn't be nervous.
Shouldn't have moved to Serbia.
With
Francis. A stolen car.
Yeah. After having a car stolen, allegedly. You shouldn't have started telling everyone that I lost it in a botched drug deal when I don't do drugs. So that's interesting. You shouldn't have went around telling everyone in that dossier, like, try to get ahead of yourself and make up alibis and explain things. If you weren't guilty and you didn't have the car stolen, Francis, why do you talk about it to people so much? It's interesting. because both the state of Virginia, the Florida State Police, and federal investigators think that you did it. So you said, I'm afraid Elijah's going to get me banned because I got you a visa to the U.S. I want you to return to the United States, buddy. I hope you return to the United States. And I've mentioned I have a gift for you. It's a nice packet. And you're easy to find. And you've already been found. People have already located you, by the way. So you're not hiding very well. But ultimately speaking, as you've gone around and you've moved places, you've moved around. And I don't know if you're even there anymore, considering the fact of where we found you. But you just got to know you can't hide. You can't run forever. And I've got the rest of my life to deal with you. And so don't do mean things to people, guys. And don't do illegal things to people. It's it always catch up to you eventually. But I say that in love. I say it with no malice. I just criminals deserve to go to jail, and people who lie deserve to be sued. And
justice will be had.
Yeah, they deserve that. And that's why I was gonna say, people don't forget. One of these next topics is Melania. Very interesting. Melania Trump, specifically. The Iran war subsided for what? Well, it's not really subsided. It's just in a ceasefire for 2 days. And Melania Trump is already back talking about the Epstein files. Do you know for a while for my set was just a black curtain in my room?
Was it really?
For like 6 months in Australia. Yeah, it's not a bad look.
You got the blonde hair. You got the black curtain back. We're back, baby.
We're back.
We are back. You got the Trump shirt on.
Blonde hair and a Trump shirt. Listen to this.
Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized. Of course, this doesn't amount to guilt, but we still must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public if she wishes, and then her testimony should be permanently entered into the congressional.
I don't think she knows either.
She doesn't know the whole story. Trump hid a lot from her.
I think Trump sent her a message when he buried his ex-wife on a golf course to get tax breaks and to turn it into a cemetery.
That's a hot take.
I think he did it to show her a lesson. He's like, we're going to put no gravestone. We're going to use her as a tax write-off. Remember your place, bitch. I'm serious.
I always liked Melania, honestly. I feel like she is... she seems like a genuine person on many levels. I think she has a good heart. I think Trump, he leaves her in the dark about all this stuff. I think she gives her husband all the credit. She gives him the benefit of the doubt. I think she's wrong. It's an interesting timing, though.
This is big. She hasn't done anything like this.
It's very interesting.
No, this
timing.
is big. This is very big.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to know if she did this without Trump's approval. She could. She's a first lady. She's allowed to press her. She has her own chief of staff. It's not a.
She
we're not
could have
a
done
king.
the woman thing, where like I'm going to do this, and you can't do anything about it. This is what I'm passionate about. Yeah, it seems like maybe, and she's calling on Congress to bring these people forward and testify. It's like that.
Well, but if you found out your husband was a pedophile, I feel like there's a few things. Okay, like guys get accused of being pedophiles and rapists and stuff all the time. So I'm not talking about like don't believe all women, because women, everyone. If you go through a divorce, guys, you're going to be accused of some heinous ass shit. Every single guy is. And like most women, they accuse you and then they don't have any evidence. It's like, I just feel it in my bones. I should make a song about a woman's mind. I feel it in my bones, but it ain't real. I feel it in my heart.
It's almost like they don't need evidence.
They don't need evidence.
The courts always rule in their favor anyway, and it's always up to the man to dish out all this money to defend himself.
Yeah, the girls just say stuff, and then you have to spend $100,000 to defend yourself. If you don't have $100,000, you go to jail. Welcome to being a man.
Or you use ChatGPT and hope for the best.
Yeah, or you shoot yourself in the fucking head.
Yeah.
Which is my dream one day in World War III.
Minecraft
/
lobby.
Lobbies / in video games, because we don't promote violence here.
Fortnite World War III lobby.
I'm sorry. I don't promote killing yourself. I'm not Canadian. But that being said, Melania Trump is who I feel like Kristi Noem tries to look like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, think about this. Kristi Noem gets big titties in her face whenever she wants. Lucky her. Lucky her.
Yeah, for real.
It's my dream.
Wouldn't
It's
it be
my
nice?
dream.
I know.
Also, can I just bring up on a side note, a little side caveat here to the Kristi Noem development? That blew over really quick.
It did. Yeah, the tits, the husband tits.
Also, you know, he put out some posts, Kristi Noem's husband. I don't usually talk about personal stuff, like I mentioned. I don't like talking about it on the show very extensively. I just think it's funny. That's why I didn't bring up his messages. I didn't bring up extensively anything because I don't like bringing up leaked text messages. I don't like bringing up leaked. I've never been into that on this show. It's like your private messages get leaked. Like I never even went over Destiny's, and Destiny's been cruel to me over the years. I've been nice to him, but he's been cruel. I should never be nice to him again. But even when Destiny, thing got leaked, all I mentioned was, because he acknowledged it, that he sucks semen out of guys or out of girls' buttholes that guys come into. He said that he sucks the cum out of, like, he has like these bisexual threesomes or something like that. I don't know. It was some text message, but I think that that's kind of like, I wait till the person talks about it and then I'll mention it. It's like, okay, well, he mentioned this, so I can talk about it. And I that's my rule for private info. If the person talks about it, that's fine, but I don't think we should be in the gossip column, like just talking about people's gossip. I will say though, have people never heard of disappearing messages? They're just like messaging these prostitutes and are like, I want to lick your butthole and your armpits.
For
and
you,
you're like,
pal.
yeah, no, the signal messages, the disappear message. No, I already have my notifications off. I'm ahead of that. I've already gone through federal trial. I'm already ahead of that. I already knew about that. I already knew about
you're
that.
Clear, huh?
Oh, I'm way clear. I have no notifications on my phone, which is why no one can get a hold of me ever. That's the problem. Hey, notice that's why you can't get a hold of me, right? Because I have no notifications on for Signal.
Me too, by the way.
Yeah, don't. By the way, everyone turn your notifications off for Signal because it stores for a month your messages, even though they
your
disappear.
Apple notifications are stored in iCloud for 1 month after they appear.
I've turned those off a long time ago because
the FBI was able to track that on someone's phone, and I don't know what exactly they did, but they were able to implicate him in a crime.
This is why we ought to do shows every day, because even when you have like a low news day and like a slow and like
It's
guys,
fun to do this.
I'm having a rough day because I realized, and I mean this genuinely, this is why I feel bad for you guys. I told you at the other show is that I had met somebody like Kristi Noem, they can make that go away. And I told you I'd met somebody, there's not much more to the story. Someone's like, that's weird. He bought a gift for someone and basically like he got nabbed for grooming. Yeah, it's basically someone didn't like him and they used something against him. That happens in court. I've been privileged to have really good guys around me. Like Francis and my family lied to the court, like he has nobody, everyone hates him. And yes, does everybody hate me? Probably. But also, no, I have really good people in my life. And I've had people from my grandmother to my father to Australia and talk to people who have come in and just supported me emotionally, physically, Goliath, Georgie, spiritually, financially. People have come in and just built a unit here.
Yeah, we love you.
And I appreciate it. And I've got to say, we got Ryan Leonard, we got Nikki Rudd, we got Blue, we got good people out here.
Australia Talk.
I mentioned him. We got good people who have come in and said, like, legitimately, like my car that was stolen allegedly by my brother-in-law, Australia Talk paid to have it fixed up. And it wasn't like broken. It's just like he broke out the GPS and like, some paint chips and stuff and had it replaced. It's like $6,000. And he just like went and paid it. He went and picked it up and paid the car. And it's like, that's just my homie. And like, I didn't ask him to do that. I didn't say anything. He's like, use your money on legal bills, bro. Get your kids back. The court's already ruling in your favor. People wronged you. It just takes time in court. Like, focus on it. That's good people. And you know what's sad? I don't think most of you have good people in your lives. And I had a lot of bad people in my lives too. And one thing I noticed that bad people do in your life, it's not just enough that they're a bad person in your life. They try to get the good people out of your life. You ever notice that if you have a really good friend, your girlfriend or your wife hates them? That's weird. Get a homie from like high school. Every time I have a good friend in my life, my ex-wife hated them. Tell me they're gay or they're losers or they're using me and whatever. And the people that were using me didn't have a problem with. But they don't want anyone to share your attention. So you got to be really careful, because sometimes, as you'll find, and I found, there were bad players, some that are international players, trying to get me to not be Ben's friend. And, with Melania, I think Melania realized that Trump's surrounded by a lot of bad people. And I think that she has the opposite problem. You know, these people that are giving Trump this advice and these ideas are bad people. They're bad hombres. And they're not good. Guys, if you want to watch a movie tonight after this, I encourage you to download Sicario.
Great movie.
Sicario
Really
is an incredible movie made by the creator of Dune, actually, the new Dune series. And it is a movie. There's no DEI. There's no wokeness. It's about the drug cartels. Unironically, it's about, I'll just say this. Do you know Sicario? The names that it's the mules, the drug mules, the kingpins. Do you know what the movie's about? It's about it won Academy Awards for like best cinematography and a bunch of other things. And it's about the reality of the drug war and what's really going on with our government and the cartels. It's actually so good that you almost don't know how they filmed some scenes. Genuinely, there's like questioning like, how did you get these shots? Very little CGI in the whole movie. And when you ask yourself, what does that word Sicario mean? That's not a Jewish word. Well, Sicario is actually based on the fact that the way that the drug cartels operate is they subvert politicians, they pay people off. And where did they get that word? Where did they get that word, Georgie? Where did they learn these tactics on how to subvert the United States government, its people, and to commit terrorism on our population and control us without actually having a real military or an actual organized government? Even though they're small in number and stature, how did they learn? Where did they get the word Sicario from? That word drug mule, this phrase. Where did they start? Where did they get that from?
It has something to do with the Jews, right?
Yeah.
Jewish people.
Yeah, they
their
admitted
tactics. What does Sicario mean?
It's a word of like a hidden person who basically subverts and smuggles. And they got it from Israel. The cartels learned their tactics from Israel. Obviously the CIA as well. But they learned how to control through how Israel controls, through lies, manipulation, terrorism. And they practice that, and they've been beating us, particularly in our country. And it's kind of crazy. Every time you watch it, like, why are these guys involved in everything? And you look at who's the president of Mexico right now?
Sheinbaum.
Sheinbaum. I love getting my tacos by Sheinbaum.
How many
Hola, Sheinbaum, yo necesito 3 tacos. And he's like, hola, amigo, my name is Claudio, mi llamo es Claudia Sheinbaum. Sheinbaumita.
She had like 30 political rivals that were running against her, and they all were assassinated.
Yeah.
I mean, it is interesting, actually, that you bring that up, that her last name is Sheinbaum. She had 30 political opponents that were assassinated, and the cartels got her there. Why would the cartels want to put a Jew as president if the Jews weren't helping them in some form, shape, or way?
Where are they getting their money, sir? Where does the CIA and Mossad get their money?
Well, the CIA and the Mossad get their money from selling drugs.
And arms.
Yeah, they sell drugs to us, and
they sell guns to the world.
That's how they fund their covert operations that they can't get official funding for, because they don't want the funding to be tracked by the American people.
Are you allowed to say that as former intelligence?
Yeah, I could say that.
It's not considered like illegal? I just don't get in trouble.
No, fuck them. No, I can't. I can't reveal like top secret information, obviously, that I had witness to, but I can reveal stuff like that. That's just open knowledge. Anyone could look that up.
Yeah, this operation isn't going to go south again. Hired a former intelligence officer as the producer. What could go wrong?
Hello, everybody.
What could go wrong?
I'm here to destroy Rift TV. Yeah, all this is going straight to Kash Patel and Alexis Wilkins.
It's like destroying, that's like saying I'm here to destroy Solomon's second temple. It's like, I thought they already got destroyed.
Well, what happened for me is I saw what was going on there at these agencies, and the whole time I went as an enlisted sailor, by the way. I didn't like just join the NSA. I joined as an enlisted sailor. I wanted to get on submarines, but they put me there, and I was during COVID times. They weren't sending many people to ships because the ships were, people couldn't get off the ships or whatever. So they were on longer deployments anyway. So I end up there. And what I saw really shocked me. It was a lot of lesbians. It was a lot of old women. It was a lot of neocons. There was a lot of transgenders, strangely. They were literally building a transgender bathroom there as I was over the last 2 years when I was leaving.
Based?
And basically everything I did there, it seemed like I was questioning, what benefit does this have to the American people? And I couldn't think of one thing. So I got very depressed, very upset. That's kind of where I got red-pilled, actually. And thank God I found Nick shortly after that, because he gave me so much context that I didn't have even there. And I knew the things that I was doing were not serving the American people. They were really only serving Israel. And that was a really hard pill to swallow. And it's, that's why I'm here now. I'm here to fight the good fight. I'm on America's team now. I'm on America First's team. And yeah, we're ride or die for this now. And yeah, that's it. That's
We
all I
got more
have.
cultural stuff ahead in just a couple minutes here. We'll be right back. Just 5-minute break. Grab a drink, take a piss. We'll be back in about 5 to 6 minutes with our BRB screen. We'll see you in a moment. We are back. Welcome back to Slightly Offensive. Let's get a round of applause going, please. Just to piss off your dad, give me some confetti.
Sorry, Dad.
Boom.
He hates the confetti.
Yeah. That's what I do. It's literally boomer raid. You ever spray raid on bugs? Put confetti, COC. They'll never like the COC in their face. A little cock of color. A little cock of color, a little cock, a big cock. It doesn't really matter. All right. So that being said, shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to those who are around. Shout out to everyone here watching. We'll be taking some questions in the chat. We'll go start with locals first tonight. If you want to get your questions in, drop your questions in the chat in a little bit. We're talking about a couple other stories before we get into that. Weird video came out today. Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
Did something pretty questionable.
The world is healing.
Yeah, check this out.
Hey guys, Hunter Biden here. I just got a call from Andrew Callahan. He asked me to come out on the Channel 5 Carnival Tour at the end of the month. I think we start in Phoenix and then we go to San Diego and we end in Albuquerque. And I think he's trying to organize a cage match, me versus Eric and Don Jr. I told him I'd do it, 100% in, if he can pull it off. And if he can't, I'm still coming. And I think he's got a lot of other surprises up his sleeve, a lot of fun. And I hope I can see you guys out there. You can get tickets.
Andrew Callahan. That's an old name.
I kind of like him. That's a hot take, huh?
I know him.
You know him?
I do.
What do you think?
You know, I rioted with him a few times. A weird statement. Also true. Did some riots with him. And we had some beers together, some cigarettes while we were committing felonies. Not me, of course, but theoretically, we're documenting felonies, I should say. Gotta be careful with my wording. My jokes don't land in court, by the way.
Yeah.
They don't land in court. It's like, do you say you committed felonies with Andrew Callahan? It's like, all right. Documented felonies. But I went undercover, and Andrew Callahan is interesting. I don't know what's going on with him. You know, I'm on TRT back again. I'm getting back some mass. I'm essentially getting back some mass. Yeah, we're getting back some mass, and then we're doing a little bit of a cut soon. I had to bring on some mass,
Can you
and then
have
this
guns on YouTube?
this hot chick told me that she doesn't like fat guys, so now I gotta lose a little weight. Not that I would do anything with her, but I'm just saying it's nice when hot girls think you're hot too. Honestly, though, as an ugly guy, I understand what it's like in the world. And Andrew Callahan, I just got to say, you know, with the TRT, I bring that up, you know, it brings some acne on the body. And I'm currently treating that with salicylic acid and some stuff because it's just impossible not to get body acne. And I'm like, and so I know drugs do cause hormones and stuff cause, you know, acne to be worse, right, as an adult. And of course, TRT is prescription. Just want to clarify, it's prescription. It's with my doctor. And I saw Andrew recently, and he had really bad acne, but it looked like drug acne. And I'm worried about him because he didn't used to have that much. Like, it was just all over.
Andrew?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It didn't look good. Have you seen a recent picture of him?
I've seen his interviews with Hunter Biden, which are great, by the way. He humanized Hunter Biden, and I almost like Hunter Biden now, although he's liberal and, you know, but we will be voting for Democrats in the midterms, so I kind of like that Hunter Biden has some power these days. He has some voice with the youth. It's kind of nice. He did 2 interviews with him, I believe, and they were both really fantastic.
Look at this one.
The Bible, I know what the Bible says about
this
homosexuality.
Look at the forehead. I'm saying he's like big acne on his forehead.
What does it say? No, that's what it says. Yeah.
See, wait, go back to that. Wait, where is it? I'm saying he's like red marks all over his face, and like that doesn't look good. That looked like you're, because when I was a teenager, a minor. I did a lot of ecstasy, and I was a minor. Just to the courts, you can't use that. I was a child. I know a lot of you guys in the elite establishment like to use children, but not in this case, buddy. I remember I had a lot of facial acne from the oil from breaking out. And I think drugs do cause acne, usually when you mess with hormones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm worried about him because that doesn't look good. And then he's got the turkey neck, which is like usually you're drinking a lot, you know. And at your age, at his age, you shouldn't have a turkey neck, you know. We all get it sometimes. Like you wake up in the morning after like a night of drinking beer or something like that, you'll have it. But like you shouldn't be doing an interview like that, right? And that's part of his look. I'm not trying to be rude to him. I'm just like, I'm nervous.
How do you feel about him personally?
Well, I'm saying like this is back in like 2020, 2021. I feel like he was like pretty unbiased back then and pretty like, just there for the comedy. I remember he would show up with a gas mask and a oversized suit to a riot. It's hilarious. People getting like their eyes shot out and shit. And he's just there with like a mic going, wow, that's not good. It's like a you can't park here thing. I remember some guy got his like eyes shot and he's like, that's not good. And you're like, okay, you can't park here, sir. You're not supposed to get your eyes shot out. It's not part of the plan, buddy. But I know that he was, I feel bad for him because Andrew Callahan was attacked in a very sloppy character assassination. So I've always had a sympathy for him. But he doesn't get censored because he's sympathetic to the left. And I think he's like your average, he's not like a shit lib. He's like your average, just like, what's that one? Who's Chank's nephew?
I don't know.
The big streamer on Twitch.
Oh, Hassan?
Yeah, he's like a Hassan viewer.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, well, he's very liberal.
No, he's like progressive.
Yeah. Well, that's, same, but different.
No, the Republicans are liberal. The Democrats are progressive. You have the liberal Republicans, the progressive Democrats. They're different. The Republicans want to uphold the liberal empire. They want the new.
That might be accurate.
It's alleged that the White House Correspondents' Dinner is going to be supported by Grindr. I don't know if you saw that. Grindr sponsoring the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
I think we have that up somewhere.
We will.
Pull it up later.
But I do love this clip. This is actually one of my favorite clips. Listen to this.
I know I'm fucking deep off into the Bible. I know what the Bible says about homosexuality. What does it say? Nah. That's what it says? Yeah. But wasn't that written a really long time ago? Bro, you can do whatever you want with the text. It's not my business. You know what I mean? I'm a traditional Catholic. That's okay. And what's the difference between a traditional Catholic and, let's say, a more progressive Christian? I really fuck with the Bible. My side is this. My behavior, bullshit. I got to deal with that. Does that mean I got to go to rehab again? I'm just not into it, bro. I don't think my answers are there. I don't. I genuinely don't. If I genuinely did, I'd go. I don't think I have a drinking problem. I think I have a different problem, and I'm going to address it.
He's my favorite Jew.
Yeah,
Shia LaBeouf is my favorite Jew.
I love him. I always loved him.
Every millennial knows. We grew up with him. We just grew up. Millennials, we just grew up. Even Stevens, he's a fat little Jew kid. And we're just like, I love Jewish media. And then you're like, what the hell? What's going on here?
Yeah.
But it's the Nickelodeon that was there. Those kids had it rough. Nickelodeon, poor kids. You ever seen Amanda Bynes recently?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sad.
Yeah.
I used to want to have a man, like because my sexuality when I was young, so I wasn't like, thinking like a man, like, oh, I want to have sex with her. But I remember like I wanted to see Amanda Bynes naked. Like that was like my thoughts as like an 11-year-old boy. I'm like, I want to see her naked. And now I'm like, I see her clothed and I'm like, it's even just her face now is just unfortunate.
Yeah, I think she did it. She changed her face because she like didn't want anyone to know who she was or something. There was an intent.
That's SSRIs, man. That's antidepressants.
No, she got a lot of work done on purpose. That's what she says about it.
She said that?
Yeah. Yeah, she did it on purpose.
She fucked up her face on purpose?
On purpose, yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that being said, interestingly enough, where is this? Oh, Randy Fine gave a response from yesterday's show. I want to bring this up. We won't watch the whole thing, but he was back on Levin's TMZ in response to Dan Bilzerian, as we talked about yesterday, talking about Jewish people, him being a fat Jew. And here's what he said. I love watching a Jewish guy and a black guy interview another Jewish guy on my television telling me about what America is. It's my favorite thing.
Bilzerian said he called you a fat Jew.
Well, look, thanks for having me. I've had people call me names my entire life. It doesn't bother me. I think it's part of the territory, unfortunately, of being Jewish in America. But perhaps, Harvey, to try to explain where you were coming from.
Get that guy some Reddit True Tide.
When you refer to me
Reddit for
or
Randy.
someone that
Start a
way,
campaign.
it's not being stated
Reddit,
to make a
that's a good-
statement of fact.
It should be our white label. It's called the Randy. It's called the Randy
He's
Fine.
making that statement
Because if you give him like Randy, eventually he'll look fine.
Factual. He's
You
making
might look
that
like
statement
Randy, but
because
you'll be
he
fine.
views that as some sort of negative thing. Now, I'd never heard of this guy before until a couple of days ago. But having watched your interview, it's clear that he simply doesn't like Jews. In America, you're allowed to do that. I don't think it's going to work out to become a congressman having that perspective.
And I went and looked up some of the things that you've
Hey,
been
I'm a black
quoted
guy.
as
Listen to my
saying,
opinion.
and I got to say, Dan Bilzerian's right. I mean, unless you want to say these were incorrect, but we need more Islamophobia, not less. Fear of Islam is rational.
mass expulsion. Muslim leaders are terrorists. Starve away. Advocating nuclear action.
Actually, I would imagine that when President Trump said that there was going to be an entire civilization wiped out, based on this, I would say you were cheering that.
Well, look, I think you've taken a lot of different things and you've smushed them together. I don't know that you've provided the context for any of them. What I would say is this. Unlike Dan Bilzerian, I guess, who's talking about Jews as though they're all negative,
Did we add a wound to his forehead from the previous shot? Go to that real fast. So is that? Am I just missing that? Okay.
Whoa! What the fuck?
Okay, look. So see how in the beginning he doesn't have a wound on his forehead?
Your sins will show on your body.
And then we move here, and he's got like what happened between here and here?
What the fuck?
Why is? Wait, and then what?
Maybe it's like is it like a dimple in his head or something?
Wait.
Yeah.
What is going on here?
It's like a weird dimple thing.
No. Dude, what is going on here?
Is that red? What color is that?
What? Wait, huh?
Full screen. Let's see. Look at this.
Wait, is there a cut between this? Because they're probably just adding him makeup. He probably wiped. No. Why is?
No, it's like a forehead wrinkle.
Dude, that's a cut.
Looks like a deep forehead wrinkle.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you this.
You
from
and your
someone who just got
conspiracy theories.
stabbed in his hand. I have a mortal. Go to this close shot real fast. I have a very 1-inch deep stab wound in my hand.
My bad, bro.
Someone stabbed me. Just leave it. Literally, I was in the hospital all weekend on Easter.
You made me very angry.
I got stabbed in my hand, and here's the deal. Yeah. Once again, did I take drugs this week? Yes. Were they prescribed to me? Yes. I do take drugs occasionally when they're prescribed for like actual pain getting stabbed. What is going on with Randy Fine's forehead? Randy Fine's forehead can't even be consistent.
Look at that.
With Iran began, 5 American Muslims in 4 states launched 4 separate terrorist attacks.
What do you think?
Because they believed they were acting in accordance with their faith.
Chat.
When it's 1, it's 2, it's 3, you can sort of excuse it. But when it's been so many that we've seen over the past 25 years, some fear of this philosophy is a reasonable thing to have. And my issue is there are those who say because not every American Muslim is a terrorist, we're not allowed to say that any are a terrorist.
Well, no, but you're opening the door to someone like Dan Bilzerian saying that he's had a bad experience with 5 Jews, and so therefore all the Jews are bad. They're all fat Jews.
But I would clarify. I'm not saying all Muslims are bad. And by the way, I think is saying all Jews are bad. By the way, every group has bad apples in it. That doesn't mean that the entire group is bad.
No,
And
that's true. But I want to point
every
to something.
group is bad. There's no.
We gotta fix the studio this weekend. Go to my close shot here for a second, would you please? Okay. So I've been told I look like Ryan Gosling with Down syndrome. That has been like a very basic description of the show. It's like I look like look. I'm not here to comment on people's looks. I've always said I've had one rule in the show. I'm about a 4.55, and guess what? Being an average looking guy is not bad because nobody likes you because of your looks, but nobody hates you because of the way you look, right? So everyone's like, oh, I look like I'm a mid. I'm a mid. I haven't looks maxed my way to ascension. However, this year you will see a looks maxing to ascension. We are taking some drastic measures here.
Bro, you are 6 feet tall. You're Aryan.
We're taller than that, nigga.
You're an Aryan Chad.
We're much taller than that.
And you're 6 feet tall. And yeah, I don't know if you can even say you're a chud. That is crazy.
Do people not realize I'm actually naturally very blonde, that it's not a fake thing?
What am I?
Well, like I have to dye my eyebrows and everything. Like my eyebrows right now are dyed so you can see them. I have naturally clear hair. And in fact, you don't really have to do much to get my hair clear because it's naturally pretty clear and light. I actually have to dye my hair. People don't know that I actually dye my hair darker because it looks like I have gray hair because I have so much blonde hair. And so that's like that's why I was always blonde, because I was tired of dyeing my hair brown and dyeing my beard and dyeing my eyebrows. So I'm like, if I'm just blonde and I just do a little stripping there, then fuck it, we'll just be blonde because it's easy. It's easier for me to maintain blonde hair than it is for me to maintain darker hair.
Yeah.
And so I'll just keep it. And if I go out in the sun and I put, lemon in my hair like most whites do, or sit in the sun, and you just hang out there, your hair gets really, really, really blonde. People just aren't used to it because my ex-wife didn't like me blonde, so she made me, color my hair, my eyebrows, and all that weird shit.
I gotta dye my mustache because it's blonde.
Who is that?
Now it matches my hair.
I'm getting a call from Iraq.
Should I just go full blonde, you think?
Did you dye your beard already?
I dyed my mustache today, yeah. Well, no, I didn't dye it. I used the...
You used the pen I got you?
Yeah.
Wow, we sound like faggots.
I know, we're retarded.
We're really gay.
We're chuds.
But look at Randy real fast. I brought this up not to talk about looks. I was like, that's unfortunate. That is so bad.
At least we're not that guy.
That's what I was going to say. It could be worse. You know,
At least we're not that guy.
It could be worse.
Yeah. Way worse.
Being a little bit ugly isn't bad. I've been a little bit ugly my entire life. Being really ugly is
Just
big...
Mute it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's somebody from the chat got my phone off the internet and they're calling it. They do this every show. Honestly, I'm blocking this fucking number and I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to be the guy that everyone says that I am in the court documents. I'm going to become that guy at your front door. Knock, knock, bitch. I'm here.
Become.
Not the only stab wound that's happening tonight, you little bitch.
In Fortnite?
Yeah, I didn't say who was happening. It was happening to me. I'm Canadian, remember?
Yeah, yeah.
No, everyone needs to just relax.
Everyone needs to chill out. Relax.
Relax.
Marta Mac says Randy Fine is a shapeshifter. Oh, let's see. Ashley Taylor 89 says Elijah looking like Perez Hilton these days. Whoa, sexy, but I'm Somali, so I can't.
Such a good t-shirt.
Why'd you put that on?
I have so many t-shirts I didn't get to wear because the show got canceled for a while that I had like in my repertoire here.
What the fuck?
I hate being sexy, but I'm Somali. I can't help it. You didn't know? You didn't see that?
No, I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Wow. We got a great show for you tonight, folks. Let's see what the
Yeah.
chat is.
That's great. That's great.
You rock the blonde. Most people can't pull it off, says El Blanco Diablo 2. Yeah, you look good, man. You look good blonde. Everyone's hating for no reason.
They hate on it, but you know what everyone said? Dude, I met Perez Hilton also is vindicated in a lot of ways. Being from, it's...
Did you say Perez? Oh, who's Perez Hilton? I thought you were saying Paris Hilton.
No, Perez Hilton. He's a homosexual gossip columnist.
Okay. Is that a good thing that you look like him?
Yeah, we're all trying to. Isn't it good to be gay? Aren't we sponsoring the correspondence dinner this year?
We are all gay maxing in 2026.
Yeah. I still can't get over that Clav. I've mentioned on the show the Clav moment where Clav's gone like so far that he found a girl that was by herself in the corner.
The trans girl?
No, a different girl was in the corner. And he was like,
he hit on a trans
What are
girl
you alone in the corner maxing? Like, it was just like, it didn't even rhyme. He's like, you alone in the corner maxing? She's like, by herself, like, alone in the corner maxing. I didn't think it'd be maxing, right? There was a clip of Clav. Let's go to some stupid shit that I've pulled up recently. I kind of want to just end on some stupid stuff before we read it, because I feel like you need to go over dumb stuff today.
Yeah.
One of those things
we have
is
some dumb stuff at the end.
One of those things is Israelis torturing a child and kicking him off the roof.
Whoa. Let's full screen this here. Can we show this on YouTube?
Yeah, it doesn't show the fall.
Okay. Bro, what the fuck?
Yeah,
it does show the fall.
No, you don't see the body hit. You can't see the violence.
Okay,
It's just, maybe he landed on a mat. Maybe it was a stunt double. Yeah, that was Israeli forces. And then I love the Jews were like, he was dead and they were trying to get him off the roof. And you're like,
can you scroll
really?
up to the post? I want to see what they said about it. Live footage, IDF soldier tortured Palestinian kid and threw him off the roof. They call themselves the most moral army. This was 8 hours ago. I wonder if this is an old video or not, though.
It doesn't matter. They're doing worse stuff today. Yeah. Doesn't matter. All right. Jokes aside, let's take that off for a second. I want to play something. You remember South Park made an episode? Let me bring up that episode first. Don't put it up on the screen. Just let me bring this up here for a second. So South Park made an episode about what's happened to America. I don't know if you've seen this. See, this is it. No, wait, that's not it. Hold up.
Look up Mexicans water park.
Hold up. Okay.
Just search YouTube. Go to YouTube.
Yeah. Give me a second here.
Perez Hilton was at his peak.
Yeah, here you go.
This
has a purpose. Check this out. You have to do it smaller or we'll get a strike here. Put us on the screen. Thank you.
life worth living for. The dream is dead, our land is gone. There's a hole in my heart and I can't go on. There are too many minorities at my water park. This was our land, our dream.
When you find out Cartman was like the most based human being in all of history.
He's always been based, man. He always hated Jews. Hated it minorities.
Even the authorities are minorities. Look. Water park. All right, before we get a DMCA, take that off for a second. Then I got a clip today from a local water park, and I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. It looks exactly like I remember. They said there's too many minorities at my water park. Then a water park, look at this clip. You can put that full screen. You're not going to get a DMCA for that. I think that's the Wolf Lodge, maybe, or something like that.
Welcome to the Wolf Lodge. $2.99. Swim with a bunch of minorities.
So let me put that on mute for a second. So
I like that it's called the Lazy River. I feel like that's extremely fitting.
Well, here's the deal. So I actually had a nightmare the other night. I was having morphine withdrawals from the hospital. This is real. This is okay to talk about.
Yeah.
They gave me a bunch of morphine at the hospital. They gave me, in one day, the hospital gave me morphine, oxycodone, and hydrocodone in the same day, in the same like 6-hour period.
They did. I was there.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I hit some nerves or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
It went
nerves,
deep.
you went very deep.
That knife, he showed me where the blood, the knife, let's say it's this big. It was like that deep.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
So I was in excruciating pain, and they didn't know how to get the bleeding to stop. There's a lot of internal bleeding in my hand, and so I was like, have you ever like had like to take drugs legally in like a hospital? When you're getting off opiates, they like you have these like crazy dreams and like borderline hallucinations. And for some reason I was stuck in a lazy river, and like it had the chlorine where you could like see people like they
in your
peed.
dream?
Yeah, and there was like people just kept peeing in front of me, and I couldn't like escape the pee. And I actually woke up and I was like, I'm never going in a lazy river again, except my ex-wife and kids this summer wanted to go to a water park. And that was a dilemma for a white man. Okay. It's a dilemma.
How do you explain that to your family?
Correct. How do you explain we can't do that anymore?
It's like when a movie has too many blacks in it and you're like, fuck, I can't fucking watch this shit. And your wife's like, what's wrong? I like it. It's, they don't understand at all that stuff.
Yeah. So I took them to, here instead. This is what you do. Check this out. So in order to go to a water park, you can go, but like everything in America, I took them to the Boca Raton, water park, right? This is what it looks like. Notice the color of the kid there. It's got a lazy river, as you can see. You notice the kids in the pictures. I noticed this with Candy. And I took them to the Boca Raton. Now, the problem was I didn't look at the price. This is not a joke. I didn't look at the price. I just called and was like, hey, I would like 2 nights at the Boca Raton and a pass to your water park, please. Do you know how much 2 nights cost? Do you know how much 2 nights cost?
No, I don't.
$10,100.
Whoa.
With the water park pack. Yeah, that took me a while to pay
swim
off.
with a bunch of minorities.
No, you'd spend no. There was no minorities there. It was all whites.
Oh, it was all whites
and Jews. But
nice.
No, it was all whites. But it was for light skinned people. Yeah. It costs $10,000 to go to a water park from the 90s now. Isn't that crazy? $10,000. That was a big mistake.
Cocteau says, I was looking at a condo last year that had an indoor pool, and in the online reviews, people were talking about Muslims were swimming in it fully clothed. Gross. Seriously.
No, but like I'm saying, like I just went like I looked up and it was like, oh, the Boca Raton has a water park that's not nig-nogged up, And I was like, okay. So I just called and like gave him my credit cards. I got like 2 nights, please, like a normal room, and it was over $10,000.
Wow.
And I got the bill at the end. I went, is that for the week? Because that makes sense. Like for the week, maybe like, resort $10,000. I was like, oh, that was the shortest family vacation I've ever taken. And then my wife after was like, I want to go to Disney World. I was like, well, all I can say here, baby, no more Boca Raton and Disney World for you. Not happening. You kind of need a husband who makes money to do that. So unfortunately, those dreams are over now. That's sad. That's very sad for the kids. But I will say, I'll figure out a way to get back there. This has been my critique of the entire society, is that you can still enjoy the American dream. You just have to be fucking rich as hell to enjoy it. You know?
Yeah, that's true. People
Like it exists. It's just for the rich.
Yeah, the middle class is being
Gutted.
abandoned.
Completely gutted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is almost no middle class anymore. You're either rich or you're poor, effectively.
Yeah.
You can live in a nice house, but you still can't buy a new Toyota Tacoma. It's $40,000, people.
So it's a $2K a day. That was $5K a day. $5K a day. Not
$5,000 a day?
$5,000 a day. The water park. $5,000 a day.
Well, that's the price you pay to be with your own people. The barrier of entry is expensive to be around your fellow Americans. We got a pinned message. Noticer I am says, say Christ is Lord. Christ is Lord. Christ is King, even. No nignogs, please. No nignogs. Action Park, New Jersey in the 90s was peak Americana, says Doomsday Cracker. In the 90s? How old are you people? You guys were alive back then? How old is this audience?
We're in the off season at the Boca Raton. What does it cost? It's starting to cost about $1,400 a night.
Whoa.
And we're in the off season, by the way. We're in the Florida's off season. On a weekend, it's going to cost you about $3,000 for a weekend in the off season. Go in December.
Cocteau
Good
says
luck,
he's
buddy.
72. Is that true? Is he lying?
He's lying.
Fucking motherfucker.
Take that off. Take it off. All right, let's look at some more junk that shouldn't be exposed to children.
45. We got 24. 36. Whoa. Damn. It's over for you guys.
So we were talking about Korea last night. This is Japan. But so there was this dance. I went to this restaurant in Korea, and the women were topless.
I like what I'm seeing. So
they were
far.
topless.
Mm-hmm.
They were topless, and they looked
Nice.
like this. And I looked it up for this show. They did this dance, and I swear, like, there's a thing that girls do, that pretty girls do, when they're actually pretty, where it's like you don't even like. I almost wanted them to put their shirt back on, because, you know, I was mad they were topless for custody and court hearings. I was on a work trip and was forced to go. Ew.
Yeah, they have fathers. I mean,
What are their dads thinking?
What about
Not
their
all of them were
decency?
topless, but some of them were topless serving you. Is it topless? There's actually one in Huntington Beach, by the way. You can go. It's illegal, but there's a Korean cafe where they're topless as well. So I've heard. But basically, they did this dance, and this dance is what I was thinking of yesterday when I was like, dude, you don't understand. Like, the Asians we have here aren't like that breed of Asian. Like, when you see the Asians, they're like white and tall, and they do these things. And when girls do things like this is why we've had wars for millennia, and this is why no matter how much we hate them, it's like we always net back. It's like, how come you can do that to me?
Well, Hitler gave them honorary Aryan status.
If you're like, how come you can do this? So this is the goon section, Verilify. This is the goon hour. I have a couple goon videos here.
Shout out Verilify.
But this is the goon section. This is the dance that they were doing at the table. It's not stripping. It wasn't provocative. It wasn't adult. And this dance, only Asians can do it. And I shouldn't even be watching this. This is worse than porn to the guy like me.
But I should be.
Check this out.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I love that.
How about a SOB members only locals trip to wherever that was?
That was Japan.
You down? SOBs, what do you think? In chat, please.
I love that.
In chat, we are going to Japan.
I love that.
And we are visiting these.
So wholesome. Are you going to come in? You can come. You're
Come
on
on,
screen.
bro. You got to sit there.
Yeah.
I actually don't know. That camera's not set up. Yes, it is. The wide shot. Okay, we got the wide shot. We got a special guest coming into the show.
But like that is just such a beautiful thing.
What are we thinking, SOBs? You guys ready for this? You want to go? I think we're going. I think we're going to Japan here.
How can you not like that?
We are going to visit the honorary Aryans of Japan together. Doomsday Cracker, he's been reading up. He says, Konnichiwa. He's ready.
Someone said, what, Vince Lasagna said we're watching children. Vince, I'm like 40 according to the internet. Everyone's like, you're like 45. And I feel that's like kind of not insulting. It's like, the fact is like my career and my position and everything I've done makes people think I'm a lot older than I am. That's like not a bad thing. It's like, because I'm like the only 32-year-old like kids and like a divorce and stuff. Like people just aren't even married. That's what someone told me. Like, now you're divorced and you've never been married, bitch. And you have no kids. You have no offspring, you fucking ugly loser. Guess what? Guess what?
About me.
Guess what, you ugly chud?
Yeah.
Go die.
I will.
Die for Israel.
I think about it all the time.
All right, here's some more shit we shouldn't be playing on the. Let me bring it up. Give me a second. Okay, this is a crazy story here. Let me see if I can bring it up.
And the story is Cocteau. He says, "I love Japanese girls for real."
Here's a goon video.
We all do, bro.
Here's a goon video.
We won't admit it. We won't marry and have kids with them. But
I love this one. Here's another goon video. Whoa.
That's so me. That's literally me.
Yeah, it's like. Wait, one more time.
We got real news here.
Yeah, real news.
We got real news.
It's called the nigga news.
You won't find it anywhere else.
Take that off. Everyone knows slightly offensive used to just half be videos that didn't make sense.
I like this. It's
Dude,
a nice
this one, Robert, so I brought this up. So remember I told you Robert Safir, I was like, he's the greatest anthropologist. Follow him. He knows a lot about history. He went and posted this today, and I can't stop laughing at this. Watch this.
What would happen if Homo erectus had a child with a modern woman? First, logically, fertilization would have to occur. Both belong to the human evolutionary family, so in theory, reproduction would not be completely impossible. After a pregnancy lasting around 9 months, a rare hybrid child could be born, combining ancient human adaptations with modern human biology.
At birth, the baby would have a smaller, agile body than usual, with longer arms, a lower skull, dense muscles, and an unusually strong grip for its size. From the earliest months, it would show uncommon mobility and climbing skill. Cognitively, it would develop a curious mix. Primitive instincts along with a strong spatial and sensory memory. In adolescence, there would be a great difference as it would be much more agile than a normal teenager. By this time, the biggest difference would be the body, which would show longer arms, a very strong jaw, and a skeletal structure prepared for climbing and survival. Here is a comparison of how the difference would be between an average adult man and the Homo erectus.
Okay, well, that was good. Audience, what are we thinking about that one?
What would happen if Homo erectus...
I like how he was I show speed. Like,
yeah,
that's got to be the funniest part about it. Joining us in the studio today, don't worry, it's wide frame. You're only wide frame. You're not close up.
Very good.
Wait, is his mic? I don't think his mic's on.
Oh, no. Let's see here. Speak?
Georgie.
No, it's mic 2.
There you go. All right, joining us in the studio today is the one and the only...
The one and the only
Australia Talk.
Australia. Ben, as many of you know him, but Australian Talk. Here we go. Look at that. There he is.
We're back in the house, ladies and gentlemen. I've been set free from solitary confinement for being friends with Elijah Schaefer. Department of Homeland Security let me out. I spoke with Tom Homan. I paid him off, and we're here. It's a pleasure to be back with you, Elijah. What the fuck is going down in the land of 1776, my man?
Not good, huh?
How is Trump absolutely just ruined whatever his legacy was going to be by selling out to the little hats? I don't get it, man. He's selling out for a nation which is not America. It is not pure Americana. And in fact, it's a disservice to the founding fathers of this country that he would abandon their wishes and instead flood the country with people. I thought I was coming to Frisco. Instead, I've arrived in Bangladesh / Jeep Town, and this can't be the way.
You said you said this. This is what I thought was me funny. Is England is playing Argentina, right? In the footy game. We call it footy here. I know you guys call footy, but we call football footy here for something that's not the same thing as your footy. But yeah, playing footy, the
World Cup.
Yeah, football, world football, and about 8,000 hooligans from England are coming to Frisco, and I think they're like, we're coming to, like British, like, oh, isn't it? We're going to Texas. Like, it's quite nice. We're going to be going to the building, and he's like, oh yeah, Chev, I'm like kind of good, and he's like, oh yeah, and then this girl's like, I feel kind of pretty today, and she looks like a fucking like a porn star or something. It's just disgusting. Like their makeup is disgusting. They're fat, and their faces, they're disgusting. And she's like, what do you want to know? And then they come here and they're like, we'll get away from some curry. Can we get a poutine fry and maybe like a
chicken,
sweet and sour chips. You know, sweet and sour, salt and pepper chips. That's what
You
they
got
do.
any crisps?
I love biryani and salt. Can we get some butter chicken and some salt and pepper chips? What the fuck is wrong with these Britishes? And then also this, I will never speak poorly of my ex-wife because she hates the British, and I understand that. And it's like Australians are like British, but like they're Texanized British, or they used to be. They used to be like the Texas
We're
British.
convicts. We're convicts. We're the good ones they sent away because we were going to cut off the king's head. So he had to remove us and our ancestors and send us to the bottom of the world, Australia, to try to die.
What happened when they sent a bunch of white people and criminals and low IQ white people to an island? What happened to that island for before the last 25 years?
Yeah, it turned into one of the most miraculous luxury places in the planet. And,
the whole planet. One of the best places to live in the world.
First world country personified. Absolutely. But yeah, we're beholden now to certain people and vested interests and special interests, but we're going to remove them with prejudice. And if I just strap them to a Scud missile and send them stat back to Tel Aviv, let's get it done, ladies and gentlemen.
Someone said, isn't that Elijah's ex-wife's brother? This is not Earl.
And here he is.
I'm going to smash the fuck out of you for doing that to my ex-wife.
Yeah. No, it's like, yeah. So a couple of videos here I want to bring up, which I think to be kind of pretty interesting.
No, it is great to be back here as well, Elijah, and great to be seeing you and everyone else. Hello to all the SOBs out there. I have missed you all, and thank you so much for sticking with Elijah, and thank you so much for allowing George to show you that he is certainly worthy of the role, and he's doing everything asked of him, and it'll only get better and better because the end is better than the beginning every day of the week.
Yeah, hear this real fast. You remember Batya, the girl that's on News Nation? Remember the one that was like, Jews started this and Jews started that. We wouldn't have
Jews were at the forefront of every civil rights case in America.
The whole reason, dude. By the way, I remember News Nation was like, because News Nation was becoming a little bit like moderate, and they were like, to fight the information war, we're bringing in Batya Ungat Gatar, and it was like she had a Star of David on. I go, oh shit, they got News Nation.
I got to set up a shot.
So one of the best things about this is that Batya's back doing a podcast round again. After doing that amazing round of podcasts where she explains, particularly, she's like, I absolutely, she literally said that. She's like, I don't know why the world's turning against the Jews. The Jews were everywhere. The reason why you got blacks in your restaurants and segregation's gone is because Jews did that. She literally, this is what she says. She says this unapologetically on this conference. She goes,
just muted, bro.
I do have it muted. I don't know how it keeps
notification
ringing.
silence.
I did. Oh, it's the computer here. It's just like scammers that just keep calling my phone. I'm blocking all these numbers, by the way. I do at the end of the show.
The Indian call centers are relocated from New Delhi to Frisco. So yes, they have your number.
No, but she goes, and even gays, the gays wouldn't be flooding your streets with gay parades because we did that. We did that. And you're like, you're watching going, are you retarded? Do you understand what the fuck is going on? She's like, she says this whole thing. Now, we've watched on the show many times. It's like a 7-minute clip, and it's hilarious. She's even like, the whole reason why you guys have the legal system you have and the lawsuits that we have in America, because everyone knows Americans sue each other like no one does it but Americans.
Litigation.
Yeah, litigation. It's a litigation country. And it's like, if the Jews brought that to you, so you guys used to shake hands, and now we brought you lawsuits. And you're like, so she made this clip and was talking about the first Jews, I think in America or something like that. Check this out. This is great. She's back on the Trigonometry, another Jewish podcast. This is an Australian Jewish podcast, yes?
No, they're
British.
Pommies. Yeah, they're British.
Yeah, they're Pommies.
Oh, well, actually, he's from Russia, but now
he's Jewish.
Yeah, damn straight.
Yeah, check this out.
The first Jew to step foot on American soil, the first thing he did was sue an official for insulting him, and he won. The first Jew to step foot on American soil, the first thing he did was sue an official for insulting him. And
the first Jew that stepped foot on America sued someone for calling him a Jew. Oh my gosh.
Where's the lie?
That's crazy. Like, our ancestors were right about everything. Genuinely. They were right about everything.
Well, there's cash flow, and obviously they want to attain the cash because shekels don't operate here. This is the United States dollar. But more importantly, yeah, it's litigation, and they're all about it. And it's victimology. It was an inception of victimology from the very beginning.
Listen to this. This is a little clip from her 20-minute speech. This is just a small clip, like 1.5 minutes. This is what I was referencing. This is one of my favorite clips. There's so many clips from this speech, but this is a small tidbit.
Himself, his Zionism puts him out of step
with the rest of his party, which, I'm sorry, only 13% stand with Israelis against the Palestinians. This is a party whose grassroots is right now captured by the left. And so Zionism does not have a future in the American left. The Democratic Party's relationship with Zionism depends on whether it's willing to repudiate that far left. And the thing that makes this so appalling is that Jews built the left in this country. We built the labor movement. We broke the New Deal. 70% of the lawyers who worked on civil rights cases were Jews. We've been at the forefront of every liberal and leftist issue in this country. Whoa. The absolute chutzpah of saying, you're not welcome here. You know what it reminds me of? When they banned smoking in bars. I was a smoker, and I was so outraged. I was like, if there's gonna be a turf war over this, surely the smokers should have gotten the bars, okay? And you can so easily imagine a counterfactual in which the left in America said, wait a minute. We can't oppose Zionism because we would lose our beloved Jews who have been there with us at the forefront every minute that we built this movement. We have to find a way to make sure that Zionists still feel welcome. We could never do that to them. And they didn't do that. They did the opposite.
There's a long speech, but I mean, that's what it's like. Don't you know all the leftist shit and communism and retarded gay stuff and black rights? Jews did that. And then you come out and go, hey, by the way, Jews did that. And then Levin comes and gets you on TMZ, goes, are you racist and anti-Semitic? And you're like, why is it that they can say it, but I can't? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, when they tell you who they are, listen to them, please.
I don't know what to say from that. She's mentioning chutzpah, but she failed to tell the audience, who was a captive audience right there, that they also were intrinsic in promoting the sexual degeneracy, which is taking place now in your United States, and making sexual vassals of your Goyim women for their men, for profit, as well, as a matter of fact, and that's shameful. So they want to own all of the so-called benefits, but they want to detach themselves from all the negative repercussions of what they think was beneficial to the country. And frankly, it's foreign interest. And they need to decide, are they America? And are they America first? Or are they something else? Because apparently it appears that they may be advocating for something else.
Like Israel, potentially?
Well, what I think is crazy about that is it's like, would you hate fuck her?
Absolutely. Every day of the week. I think about it actually on a daily basis. I had a dream last night about her. She is actually hot though. Can we just, are we all in agreement on that?
I'm not sure.
You don't think she's hot?
Elon
pull her up again, please.
The left.
Pull her up.
And so
her side
she's
profile.
Not bad. No, she's not bad. And she smokes. And you're having a drink with her. You're smoking with her in a bar.
She can smoke some cigarettes.
You know
with
what
the
I
boys,
mean?
with the niggas.
Dude, you know what's crazy? So I don't promote porn, but back in the day, I used to steal pornos from my grandpa, like vintage pornos.
Yeah, I stole my dad's Playboys.
No, like pornos, like VHS pornos.
Yeah.
Oh,
so much better acting back then. And they were like, there was like real movies, like the Bikini Chain Gang.
Did you like the acting quality?
Well, it was just like,
the stories. He was there for the stories.
You're like 9. You're like 9, and you're watching Tarzan fuck Jane in front of on the sand beach. It's like, I just kind of like got into the story. I didn't understand the sexual part of it, but I genuinely noticed one thing very important, and it was like, I didn't hate the quality, but now you see like with people like. They just kind of went for it, and the sex was short. It was like 2 to like 3 minutes, and it was over in between the scenes. And that's like, I didn't know people were making it 2 to 3 minutes.
It's about as long as I can go.
You're going 3 minutes?
I mean, maximum, absolute maximum.
In totality with 2 rounds.
Yeah.
With a minute in between.
That's like 3 rounds,
3 minutes and 3 rounds.
Yeah, that's the whole sesh.
That's crazy. I didn't know you were that. You didn't know you were a Chad.
What could I say? I get in and get out.
He's a gunslinger. This guy is reloading.
Mission focused.
Yeah, but what I noticed is it was all white people in those videos. There was no blacks having sex with our women and stuff. And sex has become even like I was gonna say is we're about 15 years away from the majority of men having sex with robots and AI.
I'm ready, honestly. I'm down for that.
The sex
bots are they're going to take
yap
over.
at you.
That's when the feminists are going to get very angry because they're going to realize there's a competitor out there and they don't talk back and they never say no.
Correct.
This guy says 15 minutes of thrusts easy. Dude, you're fucking inhuman. What the fuck?
He's not busy enough, that guy.
15 minutes. Do you even like her? Do you even like her at that point? Fuck.
One thing I did want to say is by being here in Texas, Elijah, it reminds me of everything that Australia has lost. Because we don't have the First Amendment, we don't have the Second Amendment, we have a government who keeps reminding us, including our Prime Minister and state governors, or the equivalent of that, telling us that free speech does not have a place in Australia. We cannot become like America because we need to retain social cohesion. And if we allow all of the Muslims we've allowed into our country to speak freely about their Jewish enemies who have allowed multitudes into our country as well, there might be some riffraff, there could be some conflict. So instead, Australians lose the right to free speech to maintain a harmonious multicultural society, which none of us ever asked for. It's a diabolical situation, and I'm reminded of what we've lost by being here. But one thing I do not miss is the amount of people here that do not look like Americans. That's very unfortunate.
They're not Americans. Tinjot Dederati is not American, okay?
Vinjak Vashnu is not an American.
Babu Vetkana, which is actually one of our city council members, Babu Vetkana, that's not, dude, Babu Vetkana was literally in God of War, was the final evil boss. You had to fight Babu Vetkana in God of War to attain ascension, and it was like, I got to get back
like
to
Stranger Things.
Yeah, it's
Vecna.
it's like Babu Vetkana.
Babu
It's like,
Vecna.
yeah, it's like we have ASU frat leader and they have Babu Vetkana, you know? We have better memers.
Yeah.
And the other thing as well.
What's going on with that camera?
Is
It's
I
probably
guess,
a loose
I guess
HDMI.
one thing I
I'll
can
check it.
say as an observation, which should, instill some type of resurgence in the people who are watching us right now, is American resurgence is coming back, and it's coming
lower
back
camera.
strong because it lives in the hearts of the young men in this country. And I've listened to many of them, and they aren't going anywhere, and they will not accept anything but an America which is for Americans. And maybe the boomers in the establishment class may prefer something different, but these young men will not be deterred. They are steeled in their determination, and they will overcome any challenges before them. It is their duty to uphold their birthright, which their ancestors built for them, and they will inherit it. And if people don't want to go along with that, well, those people will quickly find themselves removed as well. So yes, I do believe in the future of America, and I do believe in a resurgent America. And it needs to happen because there is no alternative.
We have nothing to lose anymore. That's why we're so on board with the America First, and we're willing to say these things where our ancestors were not. They were scared, and we're not scared because we know that there's really nothing left to lose, but everything to gain at this point. We have a country to save. We have our religion to make part of our culture again, a quintessential part of our culture and our country's identity. And we want that so much that we're willing to die for it. And I don't think anyone else can say the same.
It's crazy. I think someone doxed my phone number online again, because I've had about 63 calls so far. 63.
Shit, my bad.
People just dox my number all the time, and I just don't. And I just turn my phone off for a while, and they just stop. And sometimes I answer, I go, nigger, faggot, fucking cut, bitch. And I hang up.
It's actually my phone. So what are they doing harassing me? Yeah, I gave Elijah the phone to use for the show. So as a matter of fact, all of you guys are calling me. Please don't do that, because I need my phone open at all times. If you wish to touch base with us, by all means, send me a message, and I'll get back to you shortly.
We have a question here from David Smith.
Mm-hmm.
He says, ask about opinions on Joel's release from prison. I think we've already talked about that on the show, but okay, if you want to comment on it.
Okay, so Joel Davis was second in command of the National Socialist Network in Australia. The government decided to criminalise them because they would prefer these men don't hold the views they have and promote that type of ideology in the country. I was constantly having to remind people that, of course, we do not live in 1933, and we live in a place called Australia, and it is not Germany. So whatever Joel Davis is doing is something different than that. So the government outlawed them. They gave them to the stroke of midnight to disband, and the entire membership had to disband. And if they did not do so, they would be incarcerated for many, many years, simply because of their ideology and their views held, which the government preferred they did not have. And then it proceeded to, once it was disbanded, they'd put into practice the formulation of a new political party in Australia, which was going to be called the White Australia Party. And they had the amount of members required to satisfy the criteria to be able to create a political party. Their people who were going to be the leaders of that party were allowed to do so. They were considered people of good character, although the government liked to call them something different, because they hadn't committed any criminal acts. And then Joel had responded to a female politician in our country who was antagonizing many people with views that she preferred they didn't hold as well, and she's an advocate of a certain Zionist regime. And Joel responded to her with the words, "You need to go and rhetorically rape her in the comments," which everyone understands means just going in there and tell her what you think in the comments of her social media. Instead, she went before a court and said, "They're threatening my life. They all want to come and rape me," omitting the rhetorical. And as a result of that, Joel Davis was incarcerated in solitary confinement for over 120 days. And what was astonishing about it is there was a jihadist with his father who decided to go and execute 15 Jewish people during a Hanukkah celebration on Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia's most famous beach, on the anniversary of Sandy Hook. I think it was December 14th from memory last year. These two individuals, jihadists, one was killed on the spot. The younger gentleman was incarcerated. When he was incarcerated, awaiting trial, he was given a Quran. He was given access to his cleric, and he was given halal food. Joel Davis, meanwhile, who did not execute 15 people on Australian beach, was held in worse conditions than that gentleman who executed 15 people. And he was denied a Bible, he was denied books, he was denied a priest, he was denied a television, he was on 23-hour lockdown like one of the homies. Thank goodness, most recently he was bailed, but under stringent conditions wherein he cannot access social media, he cannot own a smartphone, etc., etc. So he's walking a very fine line at the moment, but whilst he was incarcerated, he missed the birth of his first child. He was unable to celebrate Christmas with his partner and his child, and so on and so forth. So Joel Davis is persona non grata in Australia, according to the government. He is literally Bin Laden or Adolf Hitler, according to the government, which is nonsense, of course. Let's wait to see what transpires going forward, but I wish him well. And if anything, Joel Davis was a political prisoner in the alleged free nation of Australia. And that's an indictment on our politicians because not one of them stood up for him and not one of them was willing to put their head on the line and say, listen, we may disagree with this guy's views, but more importantly, he is not a criminal and has not committed criminal acts. He's just done things which we would prefer he didn't do, which are not illegal. So the White Australia political party was ruled illegal as well. And basically it sent a very clear and loud message. Anyone that aspires to have Australia look like what Australia always looked like up until sort of 20 years ago, well, they'll be rendered mute. And if they advocate such a position, they will find themselves incarcerated.
Yeah, you know, being a groyper, I do have some feelings about it. I mean, what happened to them is terrible, but, you know, Nick, some of us may remember in the chat when there was a...
Can you go full screen on you real fast?
On you?
On you.
Oh, yeah. Some of us remember, especially the groypers remember, on Halloween there was a man who, he was dressed in a Nazi uniform, and he was walking around, and he was being berated by these women, and he, like, smashed a bottle over their head or something like that. That wasn't the problem. It was the fact that he was wearing the uniform and walking around. And many of us remember Nick. He did a monologue about that and basically condemning this guy and saying, you know, you are effectively setting us back when you do stuff like that. And you are putting a target on your own back and our backs overall if you align with us and if you connect yourselves with us. And, you know, I think maybe there was a place for the Nazi, I don't know what I want to call it, affection or affinity back in the early days of this. And I think Australia is probably where we were about 10 years ago socially. So I understand that, but they actually went and made basically a National Socialist Party in Australia, but it was called the White Australia Party. It's like, these guys, I think people will learn from them, I hope. And, I have said this on the show a few times. You really can't be so blatant about this stuff. You have to, not to say the ideas are wrong or that they can't be repurposed, but that's kind of what you need to do is repurpose the ideas, the old ideologies. You don't use the old symbols. You create something new. You learn from the past, but you don't try to copy the past. And, Nazis and Hitler, we've all been propagandized our entire lives to believe this one narrative about this thing, and creating the National Socialist Party or the White Australia Party, that's, it's like a lot of people that have strong sympathies for Hitler openly. It's like you are painting a target on your back, and you are, in my opinion, you're kind of hurting yourself more than you think by doing these things. And in reality, I think Australia needs an Australia first coalition, the same way that we have. You use the same ideas on some level, or rather you learn from the past, but you repurpose those ideas and you add to that for the modern context. And I think only that way you'll start getting real political victories, but it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time. You need the media on board. You need political commentators that are all saying the same thing so that you can convince the nation of this one idea, this one cause, to follow this cause. But until you have that, and it's going to be a slow grind. I think Australia, or the White Australia Party, they just tried to do too much too quickly. And unfortunately, I think they did end up setting themselves back quite a few years, maybe 5-10 years, maybe more. So now I think Australia is in a hard position because you're almost reliant on us to change the culture now. And you've set yourselves back by doing these things. And it's a shame. I actually do like these people. I've met some of them at the events, the CPAC and all that. And they're all great people, but, it is what it is.
Well, they are caught between a rock and a hard place because they did deliberately annex themselves onto it, knowing that it would be extremely toxic and knowing that the mainstream media would give them coverage because of what they were saying and the way they were dressing and what they were enacting or reenacting in a sense, which was quite foreign to many people in Australia. And most Australians are politically apathetic anyway, so they were just lost on the whole thing, didn't understand why these guys were dressing in all black. And marching down the street saying destroy all pedo freaks with giant banners out the front of
Hey,
Parliament.
Mute the mics real fast. Seriously, mute the mics real fast.
Give us some time here, folks. We got some developing stories live. We're almost back, folks, okay? This guy says, I can read lips. They're looking at Asian dance videos. So true.
Sorry, we're back.
I got my warning. The Australian government said if I wish to return home and not be imprisoned immediately upon arriving at the airport, I better change my rhetoric quick smart. Fuck you.
We
let's
made
just
the
make
right
something
people
clear.
mad on this episode.
Here on Rift TV, we love Israel. We love the Jews. We are doing everything in our power to make sure they have a successful mission in Iran. And that's that. You know, we're doing God's work here for the Jewish people.
We have about like a third of our viewers are just hate watchers who just sit in the chat.
Yeah,
in
it's funny.
Serbia.
Yeah.
A big Serbian audience. It's like, why are 10% of our viewers from Serbia?
Getting doxxed live on air.
That's crazy.
I'm surprised that people thought they could cancel Elijah Schaffer when Elijah Schaffer is intrinsic to what is taking place in the transformation of this country, particularly because he is a man who will grow into the role going forward. And he's already got significant bona fides behind him. Everyone remembers Elijah at the good times. Everyone remembers Elijah at the bad times. Everyone even remembers Elijah when he got a cake thrown in his face on his own birthday on his own show a couple of years ago back in the Gold Coast. But most importantly...
That was you, right?
I cannot confirm nor deny. But most importantly, yeah, he will not be deterred because they can try to take out everyone. They always try to do that. But he believes in the country enough and he believes that he has a role to play. And the audience agrees, and it's a coalition of the willing. It's a coalition of the willing who subscribe to 1776 and a determination to once again ensure that their birthright is not stolen from them. So yeah, Elijah's not going anywhere, and he will come back bigger and better than ever before. And to tell you the truth, knowing him personally, knowing the adversity he has been placed under, knowing the difficulties he has had to overcome, this man right here gives a damn, and this man has a resolve which will not be defeated. So if his detractors want to come at him, by all means, well, why don't you step to him in public? Why don't you challenge him to a punch-on in the ring? And for all the little bitches out there that want to make comments, no one in our chat, of course, but other people who wish to make snide remarks and other people who try to deny him access to places, well, they only have to witness the way the crowd receives him in public when we attend big events where there are prominent people, and every single instance that happens, those people come on over, and they interact with Elijah, and they have no problems with him.
Yeah, he's a
so
man of
you're
the
wrong,
people.
and you will lose, and he will remain. He is American. This is his country. He's not going anywhere.
He is the people's advocate.
Should we take one of the calls on air?
Damn straight.
No,
let's
we
go.
shouldn't.
Are you sure?
Yeah, why? You just encourage it.
It's hilarious.
What do you think, chat? Let's get the chat's opinions.
Should we take one of these calls
Should
on
we
air?
take one of the calls on air?
Good question. It's kind of funny, actually.
We'll wait for the chats to come in. One of the doxed phone calls.
Maybe we can make some calls out to people and bring them onto the show as well.
Cocteau, he says, do it. Third Coast Texas Toast says yes.
Shout out to Third Coast.
Trigger Tickler says yes.
And to Cocteau.
Doomsday says redeem.
Shout out to Doomsday.
Penny Lane,
and
yes.
Noticer
The Shogun,
and all
why
the
not?
crew. 100%.
Okay, I guess we're taking the call.
Those dudes are ride or dies, and that's exactly what's required to get the job done.
Real Dandy Andy says, probably not smart legally, but yes, kind of want to see it. Okay. You want us in jail? That's
Well, the
cool.
last time we did this, we actually had a strip club owner from Las Vegas call us and relate to us stories about his evenings in hotel rooms with many of his staff members after giving them LSD and the great times he had. So I don't think we're going to get that again this time, Elijah. Maybe this person be more pleasant. Maybe this person be able to sell us on the American war machine and tell us why the military-industrial complex is necessary.
As other people's like, I'm not telling you what your number. It's like on Google, unfortunately. You can Google it. It's not hard to find.
Whoever leaked it, though, seriously, fuck you.
No, it's fine.
Fuck you to hell.
I'm happy about it.
Goliath's
I don't mind.
coming for
this
them
happens.
all.
This happens like every 3 days.
I'm
now.
not happy about it
I don't care
at all.
Wait till I'm gonna respond to all these numbers with pictures of naked black fat women getting blasted by fucking syphilis dicks. I have that shit, and I'm sending
He's
it
got
to
a
you.
whole file.
Got a whole file.
Yeah. So,
10 terabyte hard drive.
Georgie, how are you finding it, mate? You've jumped into the deep end. It was sink or swim, and what do you know? You're actually staying afloat, my man, and it looks like you're knocking down walls as well. So that's a big change for you. You've come
what's
across
going on?
country.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you. We watched that Epicurus video, and there's so much truth to that. And as a person, as a red-pilled individual, it is kind of hard to find your place in the world, especially if you're concerned with the country and you find a lack of purpose in other areas of life, normal work. And I did. I had a really hard time working the normal jobs. I wanted to do more, and I was very passionate about it. I spent all day reading Twitter, basically, and interacting with groypers, and that's what I liked to do, you know. And God has mysterious ways of working, and one thing leads to another. Elijah reaches out to me. I end up here, and you know, I'll tell you, I've been some of the happiest days of my life have been here so far. And it's really nice to have some purpose in the world and to have some real niggas to fight with, you know, for this country. We are all real niggas, and it's nice to have them around. And Epicurus, the reason I mentioned him earlier, is he had this theory about life, what it is to be happy, what men especially need to be happy. And his prescription for people was to find other people, live with them in the same house, and work on something together, something greater than yourselves together. And that's really what gives you purpose and fulfillment in life. And, you know, ever since, you know, I got a taste of that in the Navy as well. And that's kind of how I knew there was some substance to that. And now getting to do it as a civilian, but also a sexual patriot, you know, it's really a civilian, a civilian and a sexual patriot. You know, it's really nice. It's really great. I'm having a great time, and I'm looking forward to growing with this community. And, yeah, I think we have some bright days ahead of us.
Fantastic, George. You are rank and file. You have served your country, so no one could deny your patriotism. So I think you might be in exactly the place God intended you to be for now.
Mm-hmm.
And you enjoy the lols as well, man.
I do.
You won't be deterred either. You want to fight for the joint, and you deserve to want to fight for the joint, because if you're not fighting for the joint, what's the point of being here in the first place?
Yeah, like I said, we got nothing to lose. You know, my whole generation, I think a lot of people feel the way I do, and many people in my age bracket and with my political views would, you know, be happy to be here.
So when are you going to primary AOC?
Well, I'm going to vote for her, actually.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Big booty Latina.
I think I'm going to vote for AOC just because she's hot, as long as she runs with Gavin Newsom, because he's a Chad. And he mogs everybody. And
American Psycho himself, Pelosi's nephew.
Yeah, Nick, he came out with a strategy today. He posted this on Twitter. He said, we are voting for Democrats in the midterms, but we're looking for an America First patriot to run in the presidential election. So if we don't get that, if we do not get the America First patriot to run, I'm voting for Gavin Newsom and AOC, hands down.
Well, sometimes you've got to blow up the train on the tracks so you can replace that
I
train
don't know
with
if
a
I
new
feel
train
that, though.
and take it in a different direction.
But I'm not into. That's a real discussion we got to have, because
let's do it.
On the question of whether we should vote for Democrats, I realize that the Jewish question is a very big question. It's the biggest question besides replacement migration, in my opinion, which they're inextricably linked as well, right? So I understand, you know, on two regards. There are like three different types of creators. There are people like Nick who are forward thinking and they're experimenting because they know that the current system doesn't work. So they're burning it down, and sometimes, you know, it's not, the outcome isn't what they expected, but it's sort of like what James Fishback would be like a personification of what Nick's doing, but in a different field, right? It's like winning's not necessarily what we're trying to do. We're trying to change the Overton window so that if it's not me, it's someone in the future, right? I think Nick has that persona too, of like I'm not saying it's going to be me, but it's going to happen, and let's make it happen. So if you have to vote Democrat to do that, then we're going to do what we need to do to achieve our goals. It's
do you
achieve
understand
goals at all
why
costs.
he's saying that?
Yes, I've had many conversations with him.
What's your understanding of it? I'm interested to know.
Because it accelerates the downfall, and it basically invites in who the Wignats think should be in power. It's like the person that we all want to be in power will come, because the system will get to such a point that the right person will rise up. And I understand accelerationist mentality and worldview for sure, but also like I find that everyone who's accelerationist does not have children, and that's been my personal take on the accelerationist worldview. And I don't want to say it's wrong, and maybe I'm selfish because I have kids, like. You know, and there are like really, really, really weird people on the internet, you know. I might actually be one of those normal people with normal lives on the internet. I just wake up and I smoke a cigar and I have kids and I hang out. and people talk shit, and I just move on with my life. But the weirdos that are out there, they're very, very weird. And I'm not talking about just like, oh, there's rumors about them. In fact, most of them don't have any rumors about them. You know, they're like jerking off to gay porn on my couch and weird shit like that. Weird shit, nigga.
Yeah.
But they do weird stuff, you know, or they're like going to Kit Kat in Berlin.
Wow.
Berghain in Berlin, where they piss in people's mouths and shit like that. These people are weird, you know? I mean, who doesn't, God forbid a nigga get his piss in another nigga's mouth, but that's what they do. And these people are very degenerate. They're very, very exploitative. And they only care about themselves. And you find a lot of people in the media world only care about themselves. Now, I don't think Nick is in that road. I don't think Fishback's in the road. I think they're very, very selfless people who do care about the movement and people. But I think what happens is when you have kids, it brings a sense of making things bad now directly hurts your children, and they may not. Thinking of these far off generation of people that don't exist, I have a generation that exists now, and I need to secure a better life for them now. I need to make sure that they don't suffer unnecessarily. And so it's a very hard dynamic for me to accept that, though I respect it, simply because it does not help my children develop. And it does not grow this generation in a positive direction. And it's like, well, yeah, but 50% of the kids are Nazis, 50% of the kids are trans. And it's like, so you're telling me my kid has a 50% chance of being a gay trans? It's not a great odd. You know, it's like marriage for most Gen Z. It's like 60% fail. Like, I don't know if I want to get married. Then it's like for most people, it's like, well, I don't want to have a kid. Yeah, but when you have kids, you're like, do I want to spend the next 8 years in a faulty society where my kids can't eat and I can't feed my children? I don't know. You know, I don't know if I'm willing to pay that price.
Well, let me ask you something. Do you feel that it's going to be any better under a Republican? Are you saying that you would prefer the Republican in power because it slows down the progress of deterioration?
No, I think that I'm getting involved in politics in terms of creating more disruption on my side and probably just only voting in local elections. So I don't say don't vote, but I probably, if you have a Zionist Republican or a Zionist Democrat in Congress, it's pretty irrelevant to me. I might personally go to jail when the Democrats get into power. So I have that personal bias in place.
Jail.
No, but me, I might personally go to jail, especially if they re-up investigations or they, you know, say his pardons. What he said about the auto sign and say it didn't matter because he was illegitimately elected or whatever it is. I have certain, you know, personal biases there, but no, I'm not a big Republican voter, but I have seen, you know, starting a PAC. I have seen disrupting I'm not going to give away too much, but we can disrupt primaries and generals to such an extent that we can steal like about 8% of the vote through basically laissez-faire redistricting. Basically, people just don't want to vote either, so they vote for you as independent. We're going to see a surge in independent candidates. So if you just exist on the ballot, you can steal enough from Republicans, because independents don't steal from Democrats, they steal from Republicans, that we can force Republicans to lose. Rather than voting Democrat, we can kind of like, then we can barter our way into their admins like RFK did in the Trump admin. I think we can kind of create offices and we can kind of blackmail them through voting, you know, sieges into maybe reforming a bit in the process so that we get them and some of their bullshit gets cut off. And I think we make Zionism one of the main factors of like, well, you gotta have to give up your support for Israel or you're gonna lose. And I think we can hold them hostage with vote locking. I think that's possible. I think it's very possible right now. So I think there's other options, but I respect the other option of just voting Democrat. I just don't. That would make them lose too. But then if you vote Democrat, you don't really have any power anywhere.
Well,
you actually have no power.
It sends a much stronger message, I think. And I think Nick, initially his stance was, we're not voting at all, just like you. He said, we're just not going to vote. And then he started saying, we're going to vote Democrats. And like the whole internet goes crazy about that. And I think then at that point he realizes, oh, like if a bunch of Republican voters are intentionally, or rather conservative youth voters are intentionally voting Democrat, well, that hurts us way more than if they're not voting at all. And, you know, here's my position on this. Whether we vote for a Republican or a Democrat, it really doesn't change the state of America at all. You know, my whole life, whether we had Republican in office or we had a Democrat in office, it seemed to be the gay, the transgender, all that bullshit, the abortions, it just like kept continuing. It kept progressing. The Republicans, once these things came into effect, they never tried to contest it. And when they did, they always failed and they were totally ineffective. And I think at this point, it's like, would I rather vote for a slow degradation of these things. I think under Republicans, these things take a lot longer of a period. On some level, it just takes a little bit longer for these things to go into effect, but they always do go into effect no matter what, whether it's a Democrat or Republican. The Democrats, they're a little quicker about the social changes and progressivism, but the Republicans never take those things away. So I guess accelerationism, it does have some substance, and it seems like a good strategy because we don't want the GOP anymore. We don't want that option on the table at all. We want America first candidates. We want people that love us, that care about us, that actually vote in our favor and that don't lie to us when they get in, in their campaign and never do what we want them to do when they get into office. So I think voting for a Democrat, it sends a much stronger message. And I'm hoping that by doing so, they're going to start waking up and they're going to have to, like Marco Rubio in the Munich speech.
Yeah.
Like even Marco Rubio is starting to pair America first talking points, but we know because of his financial backing that he's not a genuine voice, and so we want some genuine voices that are saying all those same things. But we don't want liars, and we're not going to vote for liars anymore, whether they, like it or not. It's we're just not going to give them any more credit or benefits of the doubt.
Okay, so you've done the equation though for yourself and those people who are willing to do that, to throw the baby out with the bathwater to achieve a goal, which, but for doing that, is probably unattainable.
Mm-hmm.
So that means, in effect, actions have consequences. The consequences of making that decision to vote Democrat or pump up Newsom, whatever it may be, is really a screaming loud alarm call to the GOP saying you guys are going in the wrong direction. But because of that, things are going to get a hell of a lot worse before they get better, because you're going to have to deal with the ramifications of having the Democrats in control again and then be targeted. And who knows what's going to happen. Will they boot Elon off social media platforms as they did with the former president? Who knows where it's going to go with free speech in regards to social media. But at that point, I think it is short-term pain for long-term gain. And so it's a foresight vision rather than looking back with hindsight when things go terribly astray with no chance of salvaging it after the fact. And you guys are gamblers and you're willing to roll that dice, because if you don't roll the dice, you'll never know.
Well, there is another reason why the Democrats might be a more viable choice, and it is the Israel topic.
There you go.
It's like, for example, in Congress, I could be wrong about the numbers slightly, but I'm not going to be off too much. If I'm not mistaken, in Congress, there are 3 seats in the Republican side that do not take money from AIPAC. But there's about 20 seats on the Democratic side that do not take any money from AIPAC at all. And I think even if that, I am a single issue voter, essentially, and it is about the Israel lobby. I want my candidates to not take money from Israel. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, I think if you're not taking money from Israel, you probably have the best intentions for the country, or at least you have better intentions than the people that do, whether you're Democrat or Republican.
To me, it's just terribly strange that the superpower of planet Earth, the United States of America, is beholden to a tiny region of the world who would prefer for America to advance their interests rather than American interests and conduct themselves in a manner where America has to come in and save them. It's like the little brother who goes and picks fights and punches people in the face and runs back to his big brother and says, "You can't touch me, ha ha, laugh." And then the big brother's expected to defend. And it can't be that way, because you guys shouldn't be subordinate to anyone. It has to be the opposite way. Otherwise, what's the point of being the superpower status in the face of the planet in the first place?
Hey, Elijah, real quick, can you pull up that? It's a video of Joe Biden talking about, I think it's his 60 Minutes. It's not in here. You got to actually look it up. It's a 60 Minutes interview of Biden, and he's talking about a conversation he had with Netanyahu. And he's saying, you can't bomb these people. I don't know if we can find it here. But it's Joe Biden condemning Netanyahu effectively about his Palestinian aggression. I don't know if we can find it.
And therefore the question is,
Doesn't
George,
matter.
Does Israel's retaliatory actions against allegedly Hamas, does that dissuade future jihadis, or does it in fact create more jihadis? Through the indiscriminate bombing, through the collateral damage, through what we've seen taking place there, does that inspire more jihadis, or does it dissuade the future creation of jihadis?
Well, look what happened
if
when we
it's the
killed their
former,
supreme leader.
100%. But if it's the former rather than the latter, if it does not dissuade them and only, in fact, instigates and inspires a new generation of jihadis who seek retribution because their family members have been slaughtered indiscriminately, well, that does appear that it's a perfect game plan for Israel to have perpetual war and to be able to justify, well, they're still in existence. And I have heard the argument made, and I find it abominable, as a matter of fact, by some people who appear to be representatives of the Israeli government, who say, yes, they may have been children, but by wiping out those children, what we're doing is we're preventing the future creation of jihadis, because these 7-year-old boys were going to grow up to be jihadis. So if we get rid of them now, we don't have to deal with them later. And frankly, that is unconscionable. It is inhumane. And it is not the way nations should conduct themselves. And it is not standard operating procedure, and it must be avoided at all costs. And if they're unwilling to curb their own interest in wanting to continue that type of conduct, well, they must be brought to heel. And then they will fall into line. And if they aren't willing to do so, well, they're going to have to suffer a fate which they would never expect.
Yeah, but single issue voting doesn't work really well. Yeah. And also, I'll say this, I do think it's narrow-sighted, and that's why I think a lot of this reactionary voting doesn't really take into account the swath of the voters, which is why it's not taken very seriously by the establishment. You know, I've worked a lot in lobbying groups, a lot in election groups, campaign groups, and it's like we are simply not big enough of an electorate right now in our views to really impact elections.
But you have to start somewhere, right?
Well, and go ahead and start there, and I won't dissuade you. So it's like, if that's what you feel, according to the facts that you know, that's where God has led you and that's what you guys need to do. I'm not going to counter signal the Groypers and what they think they need to do, but that's not me. That's not what I would do. I realize that we still have a very strong boomer voting bloc, very strong Gen X bloc. In fact, much stronger, I believe, than the Gen Z and the millennial voting bloc. Mm-hmm. And it's just, that's not going to fly with them, and it's not going to work. But when you tell them, hey, like, you know, they like Israel, but they don't like the shit that's going on. And so when you say, look, hey, you know, you mask it as like, you know, hey, look, well, we'll concede the votes to you and we'll draw out of the race a week before to make sure that you win against the Democrat, but you do have to create an office against H-1B visas in Texas for the next 4 years, as well as a lack of foreign aid. It's like, we can't control federal foreign aid, but we can stop, like Arkansas gives money to Israel, so does Texas. We can stop foreign aid from Texas and stop the H-1B problem. And it's not where we want to go, but at least it does something and gives us some credibility so that we infiltrate the party. And I just don't think that we can infiltrate the Democratic Party at the moment. We could maybe someone has an example for that.
That's not the goal at all.
Yeah, but I think these are just the same desire, but it's like, I feel like we're jumping the gun there. I just don't see how, like, you know, what's going to happen if the Democrats win is there's going to be impeachment trials, and impeachment trials have nothing to do with impeachment. They're not going to go after Laura Loomer and Mark Levine.
Well, they're going after Trump.
No, they're going to go after us. They're going to go after us. They're going to go after the base that he abandoned. They're going to go after us. I've been through this, dude. I've been through FBI investigations. I've been through depositions. I've been through the bullshit. They just say they're going after Trump, and they go after white identitarians, people that love the country, and they want to squash us. And then they open up the border and they fire everyone in the DHS. You get another 10 million people over 4 years. It's just not the solution, in my opinion. You know, you're going to get more problems than it's going to help. But trying to infiltrate the party.
But if you vote for the GOP,
you don't vote for them. You don't vote for them. You run campaigns, dark campaigns. So I'm not telling one right now, which I'm working on doing. And you start like Brandon Herrera, you start, you know, working on dark campaigns. You start working on dark money. And like, that's sort of what I've always done. Like podcasting is like a hobby, you know, it's like, so it's kind of irrelevant. I've always more been like an agent provocateur behind the scenes. Like, and Nick knows, and my friends know that I'm always trying to really infiltrate the system and get in there. And, you know, like when I had to go lobby for H-2B visas at Mar-a-Lago just to fucking get the Florida, you know, congressional committee to stop permitting new H-1Bs. That was during the time when Trump would like, Trump was like considering like blocking H-1Bs, and I had to go, you know, work on like trying to get pre-approvals for H-2Bs for golf courses, which I don't even agree with, in order to get Tom Cotton and some of the other senators to try to like block H-1Bs. That's politics. Politics is going in there and trying to lobby on behalf of a special interest for a visa you don't like because you like it 90% more than you like the other one.
It's compromise.
Yeah,
It
you go.
has
You
to be
look.
compromised.
H2Bs have no pathway to H2Bs have no pathway to citizenship. So while I don't want foreigners working here, in fact, H2Bs are like slaves, right? They're like slaves, which is kind of based. It's like a slave class, and they can't really send the remittances in the way that the H1Bs can. They don't have the same banking privileges. They can take money with them, but a certain amount out of the country. But they're really treated like third worlders, sort of like the way Qatar treats their slave class. And H2Bs are very unpopular because they don't have a pathway to citizenship. They have no voting bloc. So I have to go to Mar-a-Lago and go lobby, Cotton and the rest of these people, and go sit with people who I'm sitting at a table with Republicans who are like, don't you just love these cheap, third worlders or racist like I am. And you're like, no, I don't think this is right. But you have to bite your fucking tongue, sit there at a table and go, you have a point, buckaroo. Anyways, you know how you can get people to support H2B? This is what I said at the lobbying dinner. I go, how we could get young right-wingers and dissident right to support H2B? Tell them you're going to put a definitive block on H1B in South Carolina, put an H1B block on North Carolina, get a 3-state triad, and say you're going to have H2Bs, and you're going to swap out all the H1Bs with H2s, and you're giving them a 3 or 4 month window to work, and they have to go home. And they can't come back till the next season, and they don't have chain migration. It's like, that sounds like a loss to most people. You're going, oh, so you're for H2Bs. No, I'm fucking not. In fact, those should both be illegal. Both of these visas should be heavily regulated, I should say, heavily regulated. There's obviously a place for foreign temp workers when it comes to cleaning shit out of, toilets or, dying on railroads, building our railroads or things like that. But you got to do what Australia did when they did what Australia policy. You bring it's essentially the H2B, but regulated. It's like, come and build our railroads. Now get the fuck out. And they kicked them out. Yeah. And so it's like, to me, I don't know. I just live in the real world with like actual policy and genuine litigation and actual arguments. It's like, yeah, am I far right? 100%. Am I hardline right? Am I pro-white? Do I think we won World War II? No. Do I think the Holocaust happened the way they said it did? No. Do I think U.S.'s liberty was attacked? Sure. These are all basic ass talking points that don't interest me very much. Because it's like well understood. Is Gaza being genocided? Yes. Is there an ethnic cleansing going on against Christians in Lebanon? Yes. Does Israel treat Christians well? No. Do they control our government? Yeah. Okay. I already know all that.
But if Rubio wins, we're going to be back in Iran.
Of course.
We're going to be back in
Absolutely.
Iran. If
I didn't say vote for Rubio.
I know, but I'm saying like if you don't take I think not voting is probably a great move. I think many groypers.
You're jumping it with Rubio. We don't know what to do yet. Well, you don't know what to do in 2028. I don't even know what to do.
I think they're positioning Rubio after the Munich speech. I'm totally convinced that he's going to be the front runner. I think he's going to be the strongest. I think JD Vance is extremely unpopular. Rubio, he's polling a lot higher. I think he's going to be the most. But like, look at his backing. It's Miriam Adelson. And like Gavin Newsom, he recently did say something about being pro-Israel. I don't know how deep that goes. I think the Democratic base is so much more anti-Israel than the Republican base. So it's almost like maybe it is, if you are a single issue voter about the Israel cause, it might actually be a better option to vote Democrat because these people, I don't think they're going to bring us to war. I think they're going to start detaching a little bit from Israel as a whole. Or at the very least, the current Israel regime. I don't think the GOP today will detach even from the current regime of Israel.
Well, this idea that you're speaking about, George, as well, which is prevalent in the minds of groypers, it's almost, they're in lockstep with that, and it is their position. I think it's born out of exasperation through the failures of successive governments in your country who have demonstrated they're unable to rectify these ongoing issues.
And we're reactionaries.
100%. So they've brought it upon themselves. And, when it gets to the 9th hour or the 11th hour, maybe you guys will change, depending on if they're willing to meet you halfway. But as it stands right now, they haven't indicated in any stretch of the imagination that they are willing to take into account your generation's feelings and therefore create policies which would favour you rather than not favour you. You have been left with no alternative. You feel backed into a corner. So I can understand why you want to do it, but I also totally understand Elijah's point of view with this. And that is because you have the majority of people that would vote right in this country who are beholden to a different belief system, who could never compromise on it. They're rusted on voters, as it were, and they will never vote for the opposition. This is something that's going to have to be sorted out in the wash. Hopefully, cooler heads can prevail.
Yeah, we'll see
Let's
what
wait
Nick.
to see.
We'll see what Nick's orders are. During the campaign, I think whatever he says, we'll do. We will rape, kill, and die for Nicholas J.
Minecraft.
Fuentes. No, in real life.
In Minecraft.
In real life.
In Minecraft life.
Shout out to Conservative Bob as well. As a matter of fact, I found one for you, Bob, and he'll be appearing to explain to you their position at length in the next couple of weeks as well. So I'll be sure to send him over a clip and bring you up to speed very quickly.
Yeah, I did send you that video, the Biden video, in DMs, Elijah.
Okay, give me a second here. I don't like to bring my DMs on chat here.
I won't pull it up. Yeah, but I think just to put a cap on this topic, it's a good video to watch.
And there's a lot to talk about. We're going to be doing some good events coming up as well here.
Are we back tomorrow night, Elijah?
We're back every night. Even on nights like tonight where I don't want to go live.
Yeah, we're
live tonight.
Very good.
To Israel.
Check this out.
Immediately after their attack by Hamas, 8 days later, whatever it was. And I told him we were going to help. And I said, but Bibi, I said, you can't be carpet bombing these communities. And he said to me, well, you did it. You carpet bomb, not his exact words, but you carpet bomb Berlin. You dropped a nuclear weapon. You killed thousands of innocent people because you had to in order to win the war. I said, but that's why we came up with the UN. New deals by which what we would do relative to civilians and military.
So he was comparing 21st century war tactics, battle tactics, with World War II.
Well, what he was really doing is he was going after me for saying you can't indiscriminately bomb civilian areas.
Do you think Trump is saying
even
that
if
to
the
him?
bad guys are there?
No.
Even if the bad guys are there, you can't take out 2, 10, 12, 1,500 people, innocent people, in order to get the one bad guy. And he made a legitimate argument. His perspective said, look, these are the guys that killed my people. These are the guys that are all over in these tunnels. Nobody had any idea the miles of tunnels are down there. It's amazing what they built.
All right, that's enough. You can bring me back on the screen myself, by the way. So here's the deal. People are mad that we're back on air doing pilot episodes. A lot of people. I've been getting a lot of hate my whole life. And one of the things is kind of like the Democrats is like, why slightly offensive and rift have always been okay is I've never been one to police my crew's beliefs. And I think I'm one of the only people who doesn't do that. Like I will vehemently just let someone say something antithetical to what I believe and tell everyone to go do something antithetical. And I'm not here to get you to be the Elijah show. It's been my biggest downfalls, actually. I'm not trying to get you to be the Elijah show. I don't want you to do what I'm telling you to do. I want you to be loyal to me in the fact that you're loyal to the movement. And if ultimately we have the same goal, if you have different methods, I'm okay with that, but you have to be loyal in the character test like a fraternity. It's like, you still got to be loyal to me. You can't turn your back on me as a person, but ultimately why I expect you to be loyal is predicated on the fact that we have the same goal. So people like, I don't know if Sneeko and I have the same goal.
You don't.
I think Sneeko wants to be famous and he wants to be liked, I think John Zorka and I have similar goals. I think people like Nick and myself have similar goals. I think the Hodge twins, though they're black, have similar ideas and goals. Mm-hmm. The Hodge twins would lynch blacks if they could. They would do that. They hate niggas, and they're black.
Yeah.
But I love them. Shout out to the Hodge twins.
Yeah, man, we love them.
Jesse Lee Peterson.
Amazing.
If it was for Jesse Lee Peterson, he wouldn't even exist. He would say, if you told Jesse Lee, if I could make blacks not exist in America and you couldn't exist, would you have undone your existence? You're like, amazing.
Yeah.
We're going to get Jesse back on the show. We
love Jesse.
He'll
I'd love
certainly
to have
come
him on
back
the
on.
show.
He's brilliant, man. We love him.
Do you want anything from Taco Bell?
Do I?
Yeah, one item.
I'm good.
Split what I got.
Okay.
Yeah, it works. That works.
How long have we been running for tonight, Georgie boy?
We're at about 3 hours now.
There you go. What's the chat think of George at the moment? Is he holding it down, ladies and gentlemen? I think he's holding it down. I think he's been phenomenal. How are the sound effects, George? Any sound effects tonight?
Oh, we had a few air horns.
Very good.
Just a
very
few.
good. Do you air horning your own comments as well? You do have that right as producer of the program.
Yeah, no, I don't actually. I don't do that.
I think you should occasionally, mate. I think it's all in jest. After all, this show is a satirical show, ladies and gentlemen. The things you hear on this program do not necessarily agree with everything the government would prefer you hear, but you deserve it because you have the right, because you own a pair of ears and you're allowed to hear whatever the fuck you want to hear. This is America.
It is America. It's my country. I love it. I love being here. I love this country. I love America. I love Christianity. And we're going to fight for it.
Ever since you told me not to tip on Uber Eats, because we don't want to enable minorities
Wait,
to live here, it's the craziest idea I've ever heard.
You don't do it, right?
Well, I tried it like twice,
Yeah, dude.
and they actually got my order right this time.
Do not tip minorities on Uber. Don't encourage them. We only tip whites in general. At restaurants, on Uber, we only tip whites. They're working hard. They should be having those jobs. They're not getting paid enough because there's so many immigrants working for cheap. You know, and that's not okay. We want whites to work at the post office and make enough to live. We want them to drive Uber Eats and make enough to live.
Okay, listen. I'm going to end here. All right, let me end here. All right.
Close it out full screen,
All right.
Elijah.
Yeah, let's get at this. All right. I was not going to do a show tonight because it's been 3 months since I've seen my kids, and not for any lawful reason. Okay. I know you guys have been told a lot of things on the internet, which are not true, and they're not standing in court at all. What the court said is that my children should not have been taken from me. And in fact, it is procedural misconduct, and it is incorrect that they're not with me right now. And they have ordered them to return to the United States, and have ordered my ex-wife to return to the United States because this is heavy misconduct. Some say perjury, some say fraud. I'm not, but I leave it there. And people say I deserve it. Let me ask you this. You think I deserve punishment for lies from a gay Jew? Do my sons deserve to not have their father around? I think they don't deserve that. They're innocent young kids, whether you're in Palestine, whether you're in Lebanon, whether you're in Iran, whether you're in Mexico, the cartels are after you, or you're in the United States and you have Epstein or whatever it is after you. If you're a kid and you're innocent, you don't deserve pain. You don't deserve punishment because of the sins of adults. And my wife and I's relationship not working out. Nobody's relationship really works out. Whatever. Shit happens. It doesn't concern you guys. It's not your business. But for my kids to have to pay a price, of which even the Supreme Court of Florida and Texas agreed with me, I'm vindicated fully, saying your kids should not have been taken from you. This legislation is incorrect. This was extremely dishonest and deceptive from both your ex-wife and her legal department. And this shows that there was bad intentions involved to then use kids as pawns. It's disgusting. As adults, if you're married right now, or if you ever want to get married, I want to tell you one rule. Leave kids out of it. Children should not be treated like toys, whether it's for abuse, sexual exploitation, child labor, or even in your marriage to be used to try to get back at the other person, whether you're a man or you're a woman, the sin is still the same. Leave the kids out of your mess. Don't put it on, which is why I'm against abortion. And even those people who said I had an abortion, never had an abortion. I always tell people who want to get an abortion, I say this. Say the same thing. I say the same thing. I say this. You sin once, don't put the sin on a child. That's a kid. Enjoy the child. The child doesn't choose how it's born. But my kids are born, and I'm grateful to the Supreme Court of Texas, grateful to the Supreme Court of Florida for agreeing with me that what was done to me was wrong. And we will see how it goes as trials begin against the perpetrators of this injustice. And I appreciate it. To my children, I'd like to say this. Mommy and the rest of her family are going through a tough time, and so is Daddy, but we love you. And I just want to say, personally from the bottom of my heart, I'm doing this for you. And I'm doing this, I'm going to keep fighting to the very end because you matter. And your daddy's not going to let foreign countries, even though you don't understand what I'm saying, he's not going to let lies from mommy or anybody out there, whether daddy lies, no one should ever be getting in the way of you having a loving mom and a dad in your life. You should have your in-laws, your Grammy and your pappy. You should have your grandpa and your grandma, if she was alive here to talk to you, to tell you, you should have those people in your life. Not all your uncles will be in your life, but I will tell you, you should have access to your family, and nobody should be depriving kids of a happy and healthy life with their own parents. It's evil and it's sick, and everyone who facilitated this is in the wrong. And for my own children, I will get justice. To the rest of you guys watching, I love you, sons. I'm sorry I missed your birthday. It wasn't my choice, but it is what it is. We'll have happier days ahead. To Ben, if people want to find you and follow you, how can they follow you?
Or just go to Elijah Schaefer and follow him.
Yeah.
It's Australian Ben. He's being modest. Australian Ben, or Australian Talk. My bad.
At Australian Talk.
At Australian Talk on X. He has a great account. He's in Spaces all the time. You can hop in there and talk to him basically every night.
Well, we can do that occasionally. Yeah, I'll get back into a little bit more, but I've been treading very carefully given the circumstances in Australia. But by all means, plenty of people have reached out, and we'll be kicking off some big things on Spaces when I return home in another month or so. And we're going to push the envelope, and I'll keep my powder dry with that. But yes, rest assured, it may make some headlines.
And I'm Georgie. My tag is at Sith Lord Groiper right there, if you want to follow me. I'm keeping the account. I know it's like a little corny or whatever, but all the Groipers have retarded names, and, I'm one of you, so I'm keeping it. All right, you want to sign off here, Elijah?
Yes, to the rest of you guys watching, have a great night, a great Thursday. Seek God, happy Holy Week, and may God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.